What is going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Know the Ledge. You see it. That's right. We are back. A beautiful Saturday. I don't I don't have anything that I can say that I have plans for today, but I wish I did because today is a beautiful day out here in the New York East Coast area. Um Let me see here what we're dealing with today. Yep, we're at a high of 77. Currently it's 73 and sunny skies all day. Barometric pressure is at, oh, okay, you see what I was going. All right. It's nice. All right. It is what it is. Anyway, good to see y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in and rocking. It's always a pleasure to be here chopping it up with you guys and talking these New York Knicks. And Saturday morning, almost afternoon, you know what that means. Morning cup of Joe or Joanne, either way. You know what I mean? All right. We're good to go. And you guys know I've told you before, no shame in my game. I like the foofy coffee. It is what it is. You know what I mean? So Dunkin' Donuts, I shouldn't even mention y'all. You're not giving me no sponsorship, and I support y'all heavy. But whatever. Anyway, they had this coffee flavor that is gone now. Chocolate caramel. That joint is flavy. I don't know what to say, man. I didn't think I was gonna like it that much, but that joint is fire. So whatever. While they had it going, I was getting that joint like every day. But now that it's gone, got to do your own thing. And thankfully, one of these creamer companies has a chocolate caramel flavor from Hershey's. So that's what we're rocking with today. Anyway, all right, enough of the foofy coffee talk. What's going on, Nick family? I hope y'all doing well. I appreciate y'all as always. Always good to see y'all. Walter Blackman is in the building watching from work. Good to see you, brother. I hope everything's going well. I hope everything with the new home is still treating you well. That's the thing with new homes. There's always some stuff that you got to look into or stuff that comes up down the line. I hope that stuff has been a minimal for you and everything has been great. Appreciate you as always, brother. Excuse me. David L is in the building. Salute, David L. Good to see you as always. Knicks on Nice is in the building. What's going on, Pudge? Kareem Grant. What up, twin? It's good, bro. Shaw Powers in the building. That's right. Shaw Powers is here. People, as soon as I said Shaw Powers, they start running. Yeah. Real talk. Knicks. Yeah. Him and Divine. Yeah. That's him. Calm down. Don't worry about it, guys. Anyway, definitely support and show your love for my guy Shaw Powers, my man Divine. If you haven't already subscribed, please check out that channel. Knicks Real Talk on YouTube. And give them some support, man. Let's get them to 1,000 subscribers, man. We're trying to get everybody right where they need to be. Let me see. Mellow Tech is in the building. Appreciate you. Good to see you. JJ is here. Salute, JJ. Always a pleasure. Hey, these World of Hoops in the building. He said, peace and prosperity to the chat. Peace to Ron. It's SKF. Peace to the Hoop family. Gonna be a good one today. All right. Stream Elements in the building. Salute. Bad Mojo is here. What's going on, brother? I shouldn't say brother because I don't know. You could be a female. Bad Mojo could be for anybody. You know what I mean? Delano Steele Jr. is in the building. Appreciate you. What's up, DSJ? Always a pleasure. Jay from Washington Heights is in the building. Salute. Hey, South Florida. Okay. Margaret Edwards. What's going on, Margaret? How you doing? Speaking of Margaret Edwards, and then this is not, mean anything behind it. But I've been, maybe it's just me, or maybe I'm not, really on a lot lately. I've been kind of busy. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's been pretty crazy with things at work, because I was on vacation the week prior. So now that I've been back this week, it has been nuts. And you know, I was just noticing, like, I haven't seen a couple of regular people, and I just want to make sure everybody's okay, check on them, make sure um, everything's good, because when it's part of doing this Nick Talk stuff is not just being able to talk Knicks and enjoy the conversation, the going back and forth, but it's also the relationships you make, the connections you make to people. Like, to me, that's really important. And when you get that subscriber base that is consistent with you and rocking with everything you do, like, it starts to become a thing, and it's kind of like a little family. You know what I mean? So you notice when somebody's not around. And so hopefully I could be tripping, but hopefully everything's okay, because I personally haven't seen Geraldine McIver, the first lady of Still Knicks fans and the Knicks community, lately. And so I hope everything's okay. If you guys have seen her in the chat, just holla at me, just let me know that you've seen her somewhere, because I just haven't seen her recently, and I hope she's doing well. Also, shout out to Harlem Girl, who I know comes and goes, but I haven't, she came back, and then I haven't seen her recently. But definitely shout out to all of the ladies of this Knicks community, as well as the fellas, because I'm sure there's some fellas that are loyal people that come in and out that I don't see all the time. But it's different. It's different with like Geraldine, because Geraldine supports every show and she's always there. So when you don't see Geraldine, I'm a little concerned. But I hope everything's good. Oh, okay, great. JJ the man coming through with the info. He said Geraldine. Oh, let me put that up since I'm talking about it. Geraldine was saying she got a new job, and I think she's good. Okay, great. All right, a new job will definitely take you away from being able to be on YouTube supporting these shows. So shout out to you, Geraldine. Wishing you the best, and hope to be able to see you in the chat so we can chop it up again. That's good news, though. Great. Okay, so where was I? Kerry Cox in the building. Salute, Kerry. Appreciate you, man. Always a pleasure. Always good to see you. Keith Turner is in the building. What's good? Where's that Keith Turner? There he goes. Keith is in the building. What's going on, 713 Game? Appreciate you, my brother, as always. You're a funny guy. Oh man, who else we got here? All right, okay. So and shout out to those who may be viewing but not in the chat. I know how that is. And also shout out to those joining us on Facebook and on Twitch. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here and rocking. Yeah. Okay. So let me do this. Get my StreamYard link together. Put that out there. Anyway, it's been kind of crazy. Like I said, I didn't expect it to be this busy, but of course I should expect it to be this busy. There's a lot of transition going on in my job. A big person is leaving, and there's some other stuff going on, and then coming back from vacation. So like I said, this week was crazy. I couldn't even do the NBA report on Thursday, which bummed me out. I was trying to do it yesterday, but then there was some scheduling issues, and I was like, I even thought about doing it this morning, but I was like, I gotta wake up early. So yeah, it didn't happen. But I hope to definitely make sure I'm able to do it next week. This week coming up. Yeah, but it's been wild. And being that I wasn't able to do the NBA report, I just want to say shout out to the Denver Nuggets, man. The Denver Nuggets did the damn thing. Swept the Lakers, got them up out of here. You know what I mean? Shout out to Nikola Jokic, the Joker. I all I can say is the guy, nobody expected him to be this good, right? Coming out of college. I mean, well, coming out of wherever he came out of, you know what I mean? But getting drafted, he turned himself into a really good player. Then he turned himself into a great player. Then he started to get acknowledged by his peers. And then he got snobbed. What's that word? I can't think of the word now. It's not snobbed. When you're supposed to, well, he got passed over for the MVP award. What's that word? I'll get it. Anyway, some people might say robbed, but whatever. He got passed over for the MVP award a couple years ago, and they gave it to I'm reversing stuff. He got the award, and people thought it should have went to Embiid, right? But he got it. This year, he got robbed of the award that went to Embiid, but it should have went to him. Why am I reversing this? Anyway, the point is, he's been the type of player that has worked for everything he's gotten. You know what I mean? He works so hard, and with his natural talent, it's just elevated his game. And so those are the type of guys that should be the faces of the NBA. Those are the people we should recognize. So shout out to him for doing the damn thing, putting his team in a position that, all they got to do is play. Because if you guys remember last year with no Kevin Porter Jr., is that his name, Kevin? Or is that the Houston guy? Might be the Houston guy. I always confuse those two because they're both Porter Juniors. You know what I mean? Without him and without Jamal Murray, like Jokic had to do everything for that team last year, and still took him they were kind of surprising. Now, this year with them being healthy and the supporting cast being a little stronger, all they got to do is play. Jokic still carries the burden, but look at how not dominant. Well, they were dominant against the Lakers, but look at how strong of a team they are now. So, shout out to them, man, getting the sweep going. And what is going on with Miami? Yo, Miami, get it done, B. Listen, I don't want Boston to get no life, and second, I don't want Boston to break that record that no one's been down 0-3. And no, get out of here, yo. Let's get it done. Come on, Miami. Listen, do what you got to do. Now, maybe because tonight's game is back in Miami, they'll get some home cooking, and Jimmy will wake up, and the rest of these guys will get their game together and just get it over with. I don't care. I think Denver is going to win the whole thing anyway, but let's just get this done. You know what I mean? Let's move on. All right. So enough about that. That's my condensed NBA report that you guys never got to see. Boom. Let me see here. Jigga Man Porto in the building. How you doing? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you as always. Good to see you. I was just telling everybody before, man, I've been so busy. I haven't even been able to watch the shows that I've been tuning into. Like sometimes what I like to do when I'm at work, I put the show on, and even if I can't watch it, I just listen to it on my headphones or whatever. Couldn't even do that, man. It's been crazy. So I hope this week's shows were good for you guys at Knicks Morning Brew. That's Yankees Morning Brew, Knicks Morning Brew, and the Evening Brew. Also the Rookies podcast. So I hope all that went well. You had a good week. Hopefully it'll calm down a little bit this next week, but I doubt it because I know I got a lot of stuff this week too. And then maybe I can listen to some stuff if I can't see it. Building Blocks is in the building. Salute. Guys, make sure you go subscribe and support Knicks Morning Brew content, by the way. Jenki's Morning Brew, or just the Morning Brew Sports in general. Building Blocks, good to see you, brother. Snubbed. Thank you, Jigga Man. Thank you. I was like, what is the word? Snubbed. Yeah, he got snobbed. Okay. Anyway, thank you, brother. Thank you, DSJ. Thank you, Mellow. Everybody's coming. Snubbed. I was like, what is that word? Look at the chat holding me down. Love you guys, man. Michael Porter Jr. I'm like, yeah, Kevin Porter Jr., who plays for the Houston Rockets and the Denver Nuggets simultaneously. Now, anyway, yeah, appreciate you guys. Ron Sarmiento in the building. Today I made myself a nice egg omelet with some sausage, turkey sausage scrambles, and a piece of that Swiss Sarmiento cheese. Ron Sarmiento, the cheese you know. Anyway, all right, don't mind me, Ron. I just that every time I think of Sarmiento, I think of Sargento, the cheese, whatever. Forget it. Sherwin's in the building. Good morning. Appreciate you. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I wasn't planning on really saying much, but it's the whole weekend, right? So yeah, and because Monday's a holiday, probably won't do the SKF. I know some people are going to be with family and doing things, maybe barbecuing, whatever they want to do. So definitely shout out and support to all of our veterans out there. Thank you for the work you've done to support this country, for the good that we try to do. It's not always good, but for the good that we try to do. Thank you for your help in supporting that, and your time served. No matter what you've done, no matter what forces you've been in, what armed forces you've been a part of. Yeah, man, our veterans, that's not an easy task, and it's crazy because people volunteer to do that. Back in the day, it wasn't always a choice. They had to go get you. And so we should be fortunate that we don't have to be drafted, and that there's so many other people that step up and they want to serve their country and do that, so that you don't have these issues anymore, because that's quite frankly a whole nother subject and a whole nother story. But thank you to those who have been out there, on the front lines, back lines, middle lines, whatever lines, in support of our country, and the effort that you put forward to do that, because it's definitely, people forget about it all the time, but you can't forget about it. So thank you. Willian is in the building. Salute. And thank you to you as well, Sherwin. Appreciate you for that. Willian, all the way from Brazil. I hope you're doing well. Yes, Ron Sarmiento, the cheese, facts. Francisco Carrillo in the building. Salute, brother. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you as always. Yeah, man. All right. Okay, cool. So, as I was saying, it's been a lot going on. The off-season stuff is already, it's in full swing of things, and we're not in the off-season. How crazy is that? Man, this is going to be a long, crazy off-season with a whole bunch of speculation. And, I'm kind of happy that certain things are coming out, because some of this stuff just, we probably need to end it early. The Joel Embiid stuff, the Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff. We got to move on from that. It is what it is. What else? I think those are the big ones we need to move on from. The Jaylen Brown, I'm not moving on from it yet. Sorry. I'm not doing it. Karl Anthony Towns. That's the one that scares me, ladies and gentlemen. That one scares me. So I don't know, man. I don't know about all that. I hope that that's not where we go. But you never know. Sometimes people feel like talent of some sort is better than nothing. I don't necessarily agree. I think that right now, what's most important for the Knicks is building a winner. And I think we kind of are there. I think we're at that point. We're starting to do it. We just got to continue to do it. Like, what's next? You know what I mean? Don't go backwards. I know Cat's very talented. He'll come in and he'll have some nights where the Knicks fans are like, oh, Cat's so good. Look at him. Look what he can do. And there's going to be nights where you're like, yo, look at Cat. What is he doing? Like, you know what I mean? That's the real. That's what people, this is a lot of people are playing video games right now, man. There's a lot of 2K players out there trying to call the shots. This ain't 2K. This is real life basketball. You can't just build whoever you want. Like in 2K, you could take Cat and play with Cat and get busy. Make Cat do all the things Cat's supposed to do. In real life, Cat ain't doing that. Cat's a really talented offensive player. I'm not taking anything away. He's one of the best offensively centers in the league. Damn near one of the best offensive players in the league when he wants to be. But, I mean, not for nothing. Have you guys noticed, even with the offensive side, since he came back from injury, has Cat's numbers been crazy? Have they wowed you? I don't think they have. They've been okay, but not the Cat that I used to see. Cat used to get busy. Before this last injury, Cat was crazy with it. When he came back from injury, I saw, you know what I mean? And then knowing what you already know about Cat, he's like Atlantic Star. You know what I mean? Y'all know that Atlantic Star song. If your heart isn't in it, why don't you? All right, come on, y'all. DSJ know what I'm talking about. Let's go, baby. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you could tell Cat's heart isn't in it. So, nah, that's just my feeling on it. Not doing it. I don't know. But that's why I keep bringing Cat up, because I'm scared. I ain't going to lie. I can see the Knicks doing something like that. I could see it. And don't get me wrong, I don't think the Knicks will be a bad team if you bring Cat in. I just don't think the Knicks will be able to get over that hump if you bring Cat in. We'll win games. You know, with Jalen Brunson here, and if you keep Josh Hart, you bring Cat into the fold, they'll have the firepower to win some games. I just don't know when it comes. See that? Oh, let me say this too before I forget. And I see my man's is in the background. I see you, boy. I'm going to get you in here in 2 seconds because I'm about to forget what I was about to say. The other thing that I wanted to say to people is, because I've been looking at, you know, I don't know why I do that and put myself through the torment, going down the rabbit hole of Twitter. When people are asking for these players, like, oh, let's bring in this dude, let's bring in that dude. You know, another thing I think they forget? Those players look great throughout the regular season against a lot of teams. But when it comes to them playing A1, top-notch competition, how do they look then? There's a lot of good players that put up some really good numbers. But let's look at the numbers of how they play when they're playing the top-notch competition. Because that same top-notch competition is the competition you're going to see in the playoffs, right? For the most part. That's what I'm saying. Like, people forget that because that's what it is. We don't want a player that's going to dominate in the regular season against the teams that we should beat. It's how do they dominate against the teams that we, you know, are going to have to fight against. You get some guys that play good against those type of teams, then I'm with you. I don't care who it is. If those guys step up in those times, sign me up. Let's go. Sorry, got that itch. Ooh. Okay. So anyway, that's it. Let me get my guy Jay Boogie in the building, in the house. Look like he back at his old stomping grounds. That means he's back from vacay. What up, brother?
Good morning, my brother. Peace to you, King. Shout out to you and your family. Hope everybody's in the greatest form of health and happiness. Shout out to the chat. the most beautiful, wonderful people it is, loyal, respectful people it is on this beautiful Saturday. Hope everybody in the greatest form of health. We pray for anything that you're going through. We also pray that you get through it, man. Hey, yo, I think that's in the gym. Let me get that Jim Brown Nick fitted hat you got right there. That's what I'm going to call that right there. It looked like it's brown. Let me get that Jim Brown fitted cat you got right there, man. I'm going to see the address so you can send that off, man.
Hey man, it's one of them things I picked up. I pick up some things. Shout out to Shot Powers. He gave me a shout out for it too. Yeah. The only bad thing is that I gotta get my lighting right because this ain't supposed to be illuminated. It's supposed to be just orange, but it looked like it got that gold speck in it. I'm rocking with it because it goes with the theme of the show. But you know what I mean? It's supposed to be straight orange, but it be this green screen be illuminating stuff. But yeah, man, I appreciate that, man. It ain't gold, guys. So Sha, if you think it's gold, it ain't. It actually is straight orange, but I don't know. It just looks like this. If I go closer,
it ain't gold. It's just that trophy color. You know what I'm
saying?
There
you go.
Looking for that's that trophy color, man.
Yeah, man. So how's everything been, bro? How was your vacation, by the way?
Man, vacation was wonderful, man. Wonderful, man. Something for me and my family. Even though my wife been to 3 games with me and my daughter been to 3 games with me this year, but as soon as the season, came to an end, she was like, "Okay, your season is ended. Where we going?" So had to match the gas on that, man. So we spent just about a week and a half in Florida, man, out there at Walt Disney, done all the wonderful
nice.
There, went to pretty much all the kingdoms and everything, and got some educational moments and stuff like that. So, had a real great time, with the family. It's nothing better than being with family, I advise everybody, what I'm saying, make sure you spend much quality time as you can with your loved ones, your family, what I'm saying, because they are the most important. Those are the ones that support you and you support them. That's family right there. It's nothing better than having family, man, because, it's so many people at this time, they don't even have a family member to hug or touch or conversate with, you know what I'm saying? So what's beautiful besides, the great one above us, whatever you believe, but I know the great one that sits high and looks down low and he unattaches our eyelids and give us life and health, you know what I'm saying? I need to make sure I'm doing the proper things that I can, most importantly, during that time, you know what I'm saying, of vision, So, and my family is very much important to me, and I hope everybody else's family is that important to you. That's why I always say, make sure you spend much quality time as you can with your loved ones, and appreciate those times and those moments, those conversations, those hugs, that togetherness, the pictures, the videos, all that, make sure you're doing all that. Make sure you have that memory and make sure you got all that backed up, you know what I'm saying? In case you lose it in your phone or whatever, make sure you got all your memories and everything backed up on your emails and everything, you know what I'm saying? So you can always have that because you might switch phones, anything, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, but I'm great. My family, great, man. We just got back, you know what I'm saying, late last night. I'm up this morning. My wife, she went out and about. My little one, she just finished making breakfast. And I picked up my phone and I said, I'm back from vacation and I'm still a Knicks fan. I ain't never going nowhere. I'm on. I got to get back to the ledge.
There you go. There you go. I appreciate you, brother. Well, I'm glad you got some time to enjoy yourselves because that is I haven't been to Disney in a minute. I think we went twice. Yeah, we went twice, but we definitely the one time was the long haul, man. That's a trip, bro. Walking around them, there's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm sure you was
cardio,
moving.
Baby. Good cardio, man. Good cardio, man. Great cardio. Yes.
I hear that. I hear that. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yourself. You deserve it, brother. You've been working. You've been working. You've been out here putting that leg work in, making the moves, making them connections. So you deserve it, brother. And it's good that the family gets a little time away too. They can like, oh yeah, it's all worth it now.
I gave my wife some breaking news too, because I ain't got one person that cuts me up and everything. She's like, yeah. She said, even though the gray, you know what I'm saying, that gray look good. It lets me know you're ancient, you get through some years, but it's time for you to go let that go. I said, wrong move. I'm not even cutting this until I get something heard, some type of breaking news going on with the Knicks. I don't care if it's a trade or whatever. I gotta have a breaking news, not a rumor moment. I don't want no rumor moment. I need some real news before I go ahead and start cutting this off. You know what I'm saying? I need real rumors, because rumors will get you all dizzy. In fact, I got a breaking news for you, since everybody got rumors going on. Yo, the Knicks, we just signed DeAndre Hopkins to play the 3. How about that rumor? You know what I'm saying? All the rumors that's going on. I give you some rumors, you know what I'm saying? We ain't going to feed into rumors this year, man, but rumors are good because that let you know that we had a great season, you know what I'm saying? And we having a great season on the way, with that office thing. I always say, it's easy to play ball, you know what I'm saying? But sometimes, it get a little hectic playing ball. But the hardest thing is being in that office, trying to figure out what moves you're going to make, you know what I'm saying? What's the best fit for the team? How you going to maneuver money and all this and that? How you gonna get rid of this money? How you gonna make sure that you ain't shut down the future? You know what I'm saying? You ain't money tied and all that. It's a lot going on that Leon has to do up in their office. You know what I'm saying? And he got some good guys around him, whereas they're gonna figure it out, man. They're gonna figure it out because they know where we at, where we stand. They want to make sure they making sure satisfying that ball court. Don't make moves to satisfy other people, us and being fans. Make moves to satisfy what happens on that ball court. That's more important. The product you put on that basketball court is more important than anything. So, take your time and figure it out. Come back to us and let us know what you're working with. Because whether we like it or not, we're going to deal with it as fans anyway. So we should be here to, they did it, that, when you're going to deal with it anyway. So, I'm just waiting for the office to go ahead and start making moves and, figuring out what they need to do. And then once they do it, of course, Ian Begley, he going to shout it out. And when he shout it out, all the podcasts, we're going to get it. And when the podcasts get it, guess what? The panels get it. And when the panels get it, guess what? The chats get it. And when all that is said and done, guess what? We got something to work with there. But it got to go in that form and line and that I do. I don't listen to Woj too much. I listen to Woj for other NBA news. When it comes to New York Knicks, Woj give it up, I don't want to hear you talking about it. Pass that off to my man Ian Begley. You know what I'm saying? Pass that off, you know what I'm saying, Dexter Henry. Or pass it off to Bill Pito or Alan Hahn, you know what I'm saying, Wally Zerb or Monica McNutt. That's my breaking news. That's who I listen to, because they're going to give it to us real. And then we're going to critique it and break it down upon this podcast. And hit them like buttons, please. Please hit them like buttons early. Let us know you in the building, man.
Yep. Appreciate you. Facts. Definitely hit that like button, guys. Yeah, I'm gonna get back on my bully, man. Hit that like button. Stop the show right now. I'm just playing.
Stop it. Tear it down. Tear it down. I take this jersey. I tear it down, man. Stop.
Yeah, man. I'm with Jay Boogie. He's like, I ain't shaving this until the Knicks give me some type of news. Yeah, that's the same reason I've been doing this, Jay Boogie.
Yeah. I see it too. It's forming in.
It's not because I've been extra busy and lazy, and it's not because of that at all.
Right.
Anyway, okay. All right, let me get my guy in here. I see we got someone else backstage. Who's that? Oh, yo, what up? D.
What's good, everybody?
What's going on? First off,
my brother.
You.
Let me say this before we go any further. Hold on. I got to do this right.
You got it. You're already on the right track.
Congratulations to my guy, D's World of Hoops, hitting the 1,000 subscribers.
Yes,
Let's
go.
Let's go.
Thank you, y'all. And like I said,
Yes, it's a long time
thank
coming,
you.
baby. Yeah, but let me tell you something, D. I always tell sidebar. I always tell D stuff like this. Listen, man. As it may seem like this took forever, D hit that 1,000 quick. Let me just tell you, D hit that 1,000 quick. So shout out to you, my brother, doing the damn thing and bringing people over to the Knicks community because the content is just that damn good.
Wow.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, my brother.
No, don't apologize. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said in the congratulatory speech, we give a shout out to you. We give a shout out to the other content creators as well that helped along the way. But most and foremost, we like to thank the chat because without the chat, we ain't here. For them to listen, for them to view, and for them to invest their time and money too. Shout out to those that contributed thus far as well. Shout out to those guys as well. We don't have this without you guys. And we want to make that very clear. We're going to get bigger and better. Got a lot of great ideas. We got an off season that we can mess around with and stuff like that. But without you guys, we're not here. So greatly appreciate it. And thank you, Ron, once again. Even Jay Boogie as well, man. He been spreading that good word very well and stuff like that. And shout out to his accomplishments as well. A lot of us has had a lot of great accomplishments this year. We're going to keep the good times rolling. Thank you, guys.
That's right.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And I think that I don't understand it, quite frankly, but this is my own theory. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, actually, I think you hate when you're saying something and then something hits you and like, oh, maybe that's the reason. I'm like, because I'm saying to myself, as a content creator, this is something you guys don't know. I'm giving y'all the skinny back there in the chat. As a content creator, you kind of look at what your show and what your programming is doing, and you look at your subscriber base and how it's growing, and are people liking what you're doing. And so throughout the year, as the Knicks are playing, when the Knicks aren't playing well, you notice people aren't really viewing as much, or the subscribers, the numbers aren't kicking up as much. But when the Knicks are playing well, more people are tuning in. Of course, they're happier. They want to talk about their Knicks. I get it. Makes sense, right? But what I didn't understand is a lot of times, at least how I've been noticing, with regards to our own channel here, it's Still Knicks Fans, in the off season, the numbers tend to grow a lot more. And I'm like, but it's so weird because during the season when the Knicks are losing, people aren't really subscribing. But in the off season, when there's no basketball, people are subscribing. And then I just started to think, I just answered my own question. Maybe it's because you can't watch the Knicks. So if you want anything, you got to tune into one of these shows to be able to talk about something or listen to something, because there's no Knicks basketball to watch. So maybe that's why they're subscribing during those times. That could be it. But whatever, I think this off season is going to be another big one in regards to Knicks content. Shout out to all the content creators. This is our time to shine, time to grow. So my little piece of advice, just from the 3 years of me doing this, is whatever platform you're on, whatever program you got, lock in the off season, because this is when I think you're going to notice an uptick in your fan base. That being said, once again, shout out to D. Great accomplishment. Only the beginning, my friend. I assume you'll see that it's going to continue to grow, and you'll make even more of a name for yourself because the content, like I said, is just that damn good.
Thank you.
And I wish the same on my campaign of trying to get everybody there for Knicks Morning Brew and for the Knicks Real Talk with Divine and Shaw. Let's get these guys. That's the next hurdle to get them to 1,000. And especially, Shaw and Divine, like they're right there, like 900 something. They're very close. So let's get them to 1,000, and then let's get Knicks Morning Brew, Jigga Man, Heck, and Phil there, because it's kind of funky. I feel bad for them in a way because they already had over 1,000 subscribers. They switched platforms, and now they have their own channel, and now they got to get right back there again. So you know what I mean? Let's get them back where they were. All right. So D.
So
there's a lot of stuff going on in Twitter, a lot of rumor stuff, as Jay Boogie was talking about. The rumors are getting crazy, and we're not even in the off season yet. This is going to be nuts. Would you, and I asked both of you guys this real quick. Would you say that, I think we can probably officially say that the Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo stuff is probably, we could put that to bed. I don't think that's going anywhere.
It was never a reality.
Yeah, it was just a nice thought.
Right.
Yeah. But before we move on and get to the real topic of the show, we kind of covered a little bit of it last week when we were talking about the big names out there, but we didn't really talk too much about Cat. And just so you guys know, if you tuned into last week's show, you know, I targeted certain people because I thought those were people that I thought, one, maybe I thought the Knicks could use, or two, that may have, you know, been coming out the rumor mill a lot more. But one person that we didn't really talk too much about was Cat. And that was for good reason on my end. But I mean, in fairness, some people wouldn't mind having Cat here. How do you feel about Cat being a part of the Knicks? I'll start with you, Jay Boogie, and then I'll go to you, D.
Yeah,
What do you think about Cat?
Real quick, let me just feed on you with the all season subscribers and everything. You got to also give yourself credit and all the other podcasters. Maybe people are subscribing to you because they appreciate your entertainment, your environment, how you break things down. And two is, hey, yo, shout out to my man D's Hoop reaching that 1,000 logo. That's great, my brother. Appreciate you, you know what I'm saying? Your grind and everything that you provide, you know what I'm saying? Opening your doors, you know, for everybody. It's it might have been a long time coming. It might have been a long time patienting, but it's been a long time of you not giving up. And this is the type of things that happen when you don't give up and you have, you know what I'm saying, a vision in front of you. You know what I'm saying? You're aiming for your goals. Far as that there, what you talking about, Embiid?
No, Cat. Karl Anthony Towns. Yeah.
Listen, I'm just gonna be honest, man. I'm keeping Julius over Towns. That's just me. You know, Towns just, you know, I don't got used to how Julius' ways are. And Towns is just like, you know, he's one of them guys like you're supposed to meet him at 2:00. You don't even show up to 4:15. He don't call you. And then he one of them type guys, you know what I'm saying? I don't have time for the shenanigans. I don't care about you throwing the first pitch at Yankee Stadium with the Yankees. None of that, man. You know what I'm saying? I need that extra work type guys, you know, and Towns just one of them guys. He doesn't, you know, he just rubs me the wrong way, you know, like, you know, he's just always sneaking. Like, you know, he one of them guys, you know what I'm saying, that he ain't around, he want to holler at your lady, man. I just don't rock with him, man. Just me personally. I don't want him on this team. I don't want him. I'll stay over there in Minnesota, do what you're doing over there. But far as being, he's not a Knick guy to me, man. So, you know, I really don't have too much for Towns, man. I'm gonna leave that for the greater part of the show.
Okay. What's your thoughts on Cat, D?
Yeah, I think it's only coming up because he's CAA related. Besides from that, I don't see a realistic connection. Especially that Tibbs already went the merry-go-round with him for a couple of seasons. So he knows him very well. I thought you brought up a very good point earlier about after his series of injuries, not looking like the same guy he did a couple of years ago. And, you know, people are funny. And, you know, they'll be like, you know, defensively, he looked pretty good this year. They look at the numbers. They don't realize he only played half of the season. They don't realize he played a lot of games with Rudy Gobert. So he didn't have to play. He played like, you know, mediocre power forwards and stuff of that nature, bench guys, stuff like that. So it shrewds the numbers. He has historically has been a bad defender, very talented offensive player. But another thing with him too is that, and we got a gist of that this season, is that it's very important. I think one of the most precious commodities you could have on a roster that you want championship contending is that guy show up at the playoffs. And he hasn't from the times that he's been there. And that's including like play-ins and stuff. He's had good games here and there, but as far as consistency, he hasn't shown that pit bull. For me, he's called Cat for a reason. And for Nick is nice. I guess that's Pudge. It sounds like the same type of language. Yeah, duh. We know it's been coming up for years because he's always been CAA related. But we talk about why it's coming up now, so you got to pay attention. But yeah, so but I don't see anything realistic with that. You just talk about Cat right now, right?
Yeah. Just Cat.
Yeah. So that's coming up for those purposes this year, especially also to Julius Randle's playoff performance. I'm very sure you're going to continue hearing names of that nature, like Pascal Siakam, stuff of that nature, guys that could kind of replace the position and stuff like that. Even when I don't think Julius Randle is going anywhere. But I think I don't see any realism to that. And you guys learned from last year with Donovan Mitchell that there's no point in getting high blood pressure, going crazy, following what every writer is saying. What's this rumor saying? What's going on Twitter? What's it saying now? As you guys saw, it's very exhausting. And I think you guys learned from that. And, the fan base should have a thing of that whatever happens, happens, because we could politic, we could talk, right? We could break it down and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, it's the president of basketball operations. I think Tibbs has a voice in the on the table as well as to final decisions that they make and stuff like that. I think Jalen Brunson has earned himself a seat on that table as well. And I think he should take full advantage of that if the opportunity is given. I think Daddy Brunson as well. We'll see what they do.
Yeah, that makes sense. I agree. And listen, like my whole thing is I don't want to seem like if you like a certain player. No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to seem like if the Knicks are missing a certain type of talent. Like, for example, for the bigs, we don't have bigs that can stretch the floor consistently. Like we thought we might not consistently. We thought Hartenstein was going to be able to do a little bit of that, little bit. He's not even doing the little bit. You know what I mean? And that could be because like he got his moments with the Clippers, but they were inconsistent, and he had a little bit of a green light, so he took it when he took it. But he wasn't the focal point of the offense. The Clippers had as far as the squad on paper, they had a lot of talent over there. Guys just never were healthy. But the Knicks, in a situation where we're trying to change our offense and stretch it out a little bit more and can create those lanes, and we're devoid of really consistent three-point shooting, probably the thought early was, hey, let's see how Hartenstein can do. Let's give him the rock and see it. But then you put him in a position that maybe he wasn't that comfortable with. He didn't put enough reps in to be consistent with his shot, because for a guy who was looked at as somebody who could stretch the floor here and there on a given moment, like you give him, a couple shots at it wide open, he might be able to knock him down here and there. He's not really a good shooter. And his free throw shooting is evidence of that too. He's not the greatest shooter. He doesn't have and his form is not bad. I just don't know. I don't know what it is. But the point is, we don't have that type of player. So I know when some guys see a Karl Anthony Towns, like, okay, Karl Anthony Towns, he's been getting it for years. He can definitely stretch the floor. He can knock down the three. But one good thing about him doesn't mean that's the right fit for the rest of what the Knicks have problems with. The Knicks don't play, defense consistently at every position. Sometimes they struggle in the team defensive aspect of it. And even offensively, the Knicks are one of the best offensive teams in the league, considering we don't have a lot of good three-point shooting. Yet, when push came to shove and we needed baskets, we could only get those baskets from maybe two people. Definitely one, which is Brunson. But sometimes he couldn't come through because they doubled and triple teamed the guy. But he was our most consistent guy with that. And then maybe a second was RJ, right? And if I'm going to tell you that our second most consistent player to getting baskets is RJ Barrett, that's not a good thing. So that's all I'm saying. As much as Cat may look sexy to people because of the way his game is, it's just not enough. And what D pointed out is what I said before. Even that is taking a back seat. Ever since he came back from injury, even that doesn't look the same. So he's not the guy. He's an improvement in one aspect, but not enough for me to say that's the move to make. If we want to make a move that I've been warming up to lately, because I really, I didn't think I was ever going to say this. Excuse me. But if you want to talk about a move that maybe we should consider, That's this guy right here. That's right. Kristaps, crying kid at the draft night, Porzingis. Yep. A lot of people have been throwing Kristaps' name around. And you know what? At first I said, I don't know about Kristaps Porzingis coming back to the Knicks. His welcome we gave him the welcome wagon. We threw it out there for him. We treated him like he was the golden child. And he destroyed that relationship at every turn. It started out great in the first year, but then as he started to feel himself a little bit, as his agent brother started to pump up his head and his ego, things got crazy here. Then he started to do a little questionable stuff that we can't mention that happened behind the scenes that we can never prove, but people know. And the Knicks covered up while he was here. You know, he just got a little wild out there in them streets. You know, but he was smart enough not to have a video camera watching him or whatever he's doing. Sorry. Anyway, that's another subject. So you had that going on, right? So the Knicks are already like, that's a headache. Then you got the agent brother who's asking for all types of stuff. And then the Knicks have questions about injuries. And then the brother is being defensive and they're coming at a position of aggressiveness. It just started to become a bad marriage. And obviously we've seen interviews this year where Kristaps has said that, yeah, that didn't go the way it should have gone. And maybe it was a mistake having his brother as his agent, dealing with that stuff. Didn't work out the way it should have. And he regrets it. So I like the fact that he's saying he regrets it, even though he's playing with a whole nother team and it really doesn't matter. But that shows me something. But what really shows me something is, I mean, just if you look at Kristaps and just what his numbers look like, I mean, you guys can see it right there. These are solid numbers: 23.2 points per game, 8.4 rebounds, 2.7 assists, almost a steal a game, 1.5 blocks per game, 49% from the field, 38.5 from three, 85% from the free throw line. I mean, the only thing I would say with Kristaps is how's the health, right? But Kristaps played 65 games. Now, I'm not saying that's great, but I'll take that. Like 65 games is decent. That's a good amount of time to play out there that I could say, okay, that's passable. Like when you're getting less than 60 games in the 50 or less, then I'm like, like I can't trust that. Who knows when this guy's going to get hurt again? We could be on our playoff run. He gets hurt, then he's done for the rest of the season. Now that still could happen to Kristaps, but I think 65 games for a center who's 7'3", 7'4", who's got a lot of concerns with regards to his height and the weight he puts on his body in an 82-game season, I can't be mad at that. So I think that's passable. And after I looked at that, I said, you know what? Maybe. So I'm wondering how you guys feel about it. I want to add something else to it, but I'll save it for after I hear from you guys. What do you think about adding Kristaps to the mix for the New York Knicks? J Boogie.
EPMD, unfinished business. I'm cool with that. It's not a bad look to me at all. You know what I'm saying? And you spoke about how many games he played last year, 65 games he played. But more importantly, he was ready to go if they was going to make it into the bubble or make it into the playoffs. He was able to go. You talk about when he got drafted, the laugh, the crying, you know what I'm saying, the boos and everything. That man says, so what? He faced New York. A lot of people couldn't walk into New York City and face the Mecca like this. You know what I'm saying? That dude, he did do that. Any game he came out. He was not scared of the moment, scared of New York, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? He already had that clutch gene in him. It's just unfortunately he went down to injuries, and unfortunately whatever happened off the off court, situation, whatever that was. But I believe, if the office don't get to telling that man, you need to go get big, you need to strengthen up and all that, he go to hitting all that iron, and he stayed his normal self, you know what I'm saying? I think Kristaps still would have been dominating this league, you know what I'm saying? You put that extra weight on him and force him to become something that he wasn't, But like you said, I look at the numbers, the numbers are they are what they are. But him being on the floor, it goes a long way. He can do a lot. He can rebound. He can protect the rim a little bit. You know what I'm saying? His defense, it's a little shaky or whatever, but he can't get blocks. He's a threat being at the rim. You got to figure out how to get the ball over him. And he can shoot from anywhere across that half-court line. And that's something that's more for us. We need more shooting and everything on this squad. The problem is how you going to figure to get him over here if you're going to get him over here. What type of pieces you going to do, assign and trade, what you going to give up. Because definitely you don't want to see Porzingis move along to a squad like Miami, coming into next season. See, some moves that we make, we got to also think about making moves that somebody else don't get certain people to add to their squads, So it's a lot of chess games going on right here, right now. But Porzingis, that wouldn't be a bad look. Depends on what you're giving up, how you going to play him. Is he going to be a starting piece? Are you getting rid of Mitch? Or you just bring him in? Is he coming off the bench? How you going to do him? It's more important. But that guy right there, man, he can come there. That's a pure threat. Ain't no zones out there on the floor because he can shoot from away from the zone. So I'm okay with the Porzingis thing a whole lot better than the Towns thing, because I know he fits the city and he know how to play again in New York. That's what matters to me most, to have him playing in New York. And thirdly, he got chemistry with Brunson. And y'all already spoke about it, Brunson being sitting at the table. He earned those stripes, to pick and choose because, for what you want to bring in. And am I comfortable with such and such, Unlike how you did it, with Julius, Brunson has the keys to the Cadillac. When you did it all, you want a Cadillac, so when you hit the bumps, you can just, you go like that. You don't want to clock the movement and just shaking, But yeah, I'm okay with Porzingis, man, for real. I like Zing, man. I liked him once I learned of him, I was pissed off with Phil when he did it, but when I saw his game, I said, "Yo, Phil, you went and got somebody." But then everything blew up after that.
Yeah. Let me do this real quick before I get to D because the chat is starting to build up. Let me just give some people a quick shout out. Shout out to start these guys. Shout out to Parrish Duggar. I appreciate you. Good to see you as always. Salute my brother. Shout out to Hard Will for the love of the game and also Worldwide L. Salute to them. Guys, once again, if you haven't checked out their content, please do. There you go. Please do. Check out For the Love of the Game. That's right. The number 4, OUR, Love of the Game. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube to their channel. East Blue Drew is in the building. Salute to you, my brother. I appreciate you. Always good to see you. Keyshawn is here. Salute, Keyshawn. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for rocking. Craig is in the building, not to be confused with Greg. Craig is in the building. That's this guy. Appreciate you, my brother. Unk is in the building. Unk. I don't know if I've seen you in the chat recently, man. If this is your first time here, I appreciate you. If not, thank you for returning. Always good to see you. Appreciate that. And Brahim is in the building. Salute, my guy. Hope everything's good on your end. Appreciate you as always. Mega, my guy Mega NYK is in the building. Salute to you, my brother. Always good to see you. And if I missed anybody, don't worry. I'll probably get to you in a little bit if I haven't already. That's interesting. Interesting name. Okay, YouTuber. Salute to you, my brother. Thank you for being here, rocking with us. I'm sure this is your first time. I have not seen this name before, so thank you, YouTuber.
That YouTuber came up like a T-Mobile logo or something.
I was like, word.
That's a brand new phone.
You know what I mean? Our future media is in the building. Salute to you. Johnny Rodriguez in the building. Now, I haven't seen your name in the chat, so if this is your first time here, thank you for being here. If you're returning, we appreciate having you back. Let me see. I'll come back to this, actually. Okay, I see what you guys are saying. I see. Okay. All right, D. So what's your thoughts on Kristaps Porzingis?
you know, you pretty much broke it down as far as his offensive productivity, his versatility on the floor. The big question with him is 2017-18, 48 games. 18-19, did not play at all. 19-20, 57 games. 2021, 43 games. 21-22, 51 games in total. And last year, he actually played 65. So you could see that as an upside. Injury is an issue, though. But, I mean, he was a plus 20 on expected win last year. A plus 20. His offensive stats through the roof. Defensive stats have always been pretty good. One thing I'll give credit for Kristaps Porzingis for being a 7'3" guy, he defends pretty well. At that position. Of course, he could get ripped apart in the pick and roll, stuff like that. But as far as like helping and recovering, containing on the perimeter, he's actually a lot better than a lot of guys at 7'3" in this day and age. So got to give credit to that. I'm not indifferent to it. The only thing is injuries. And, you know, we don't want to bring a guy in, expect these type of things, and he's only playing half the season. That would be a big problem. And here's another thing with Kristaps as well that I think is something that should be looked at. Doesn't have a real extensive playoff history. And last time when he played 7 games with the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs, he averaged 13.1 per game and only 5.4 rebounds. We're in a stage as an organization that if we are moving up to championship contention, you got to make sure that you bring pit bulls in that want to deliver at the most important times. So, like, for example, Craig had asked the question about, you know, who would want to trade Julius Randle. And the reason why that becomes a topic of discussion is because Julius Randle has averaged 17.1 points, 9.4 rebounds, 3.7 assists. I can't see the turnovers on this one. Yeah, and 4 turnovers, by the way. So he's averaging more turnovers than assists throughout his 15 games as a playoff performer. That's why it's coming up. If anybody had seen CT's show yesterday, shout out to CT, he had Howard Beck on there. And Howard Beck was breaking down beautifully exactly at which guys were listening, right? That, you know, when that happens, your stock goes down. And it's not the same as it was in the regular season. And we have been saying that. And so that's the reason why that comes up. So when you're looking for guys, right, you're looking for guys like, I want to look for a guy that's going to come in, right, and has playoff experience. You need that on this roster because the fan base thinks that we have eternity to build this roster, and we don't. We got 3 to 5 year windows. And right now with Jalen Brunson, we're entering year 2. With the regime, we're entering year 4. So these are very important times. You want to be sharp. I wouldn't be sitting down with a margarita and an umbrella straw on a beach chair in the middle of a beach, constructed this roster. There's some things that have to be done this offseason, especially.
Yeah. I think that's fair. And you know, so what I've been thinking about with regards to Kristaps is his numbers look good. I can't front. I mean, those numbers are pretty impressive. Considering, you know, everything that's happened with him and the injury stuff. But one thing I did notice about him is, I mean, if you look at him, he's gained weight and he's filled out a little bit. He looks like he's got a lot better weight distribution on his body, and maybe that's part of the reason why he was able to play 65 games. Maybe it's also about him taking a little time for, you know, to get a little older, for his body, his metabolism to be a certain way and kind of fill out. And maybe he's at a really good playing weight. I'm hoping that that's the case. Maybe he's found himself, because when I saw him this year, I was kind of surprised because I haven't really been paying attention to Kristaps, you know, out of sight, out of mind. But when I saw him with the Wizards playing some games, I was like, wow, Kristaps looks different because he just looks like a more solid, you know, body shape. Like He's definitely not like he's not that tall either, but like, over the years, like a guy back in the day, people remember Sean Bradley. He came in real skinny, lanky, and we were like, this guy's got to put on some weight. Now, eventually he did, but towards the real tail end of his career. But with regards to Kristaps, if you look at him when he came into the Knicks as a rookie compared to his body shape now, this guy's put on a good amount of weight. Like, he looks a lot better, almost to the same point. Like, I would say, think of like for us as Knicks fans, like Mitchell Robinson, how Mitchell Robinson put on that weight, right? And he got the upper body, right? But his legs are kind of still small. But it looks like Kristaps has put on some upper body and lower body. So he looks a little bit more formidable out there. And maybe that's helping him stay a little, in better shape to be out there and take the grind of the NBA season. I don't know. But I'm just saying he looks a little healthier with regards to that. And to your point, D, when you were talking about the playoff, I looked at that too. I was like, I don't know. But then I was like, well, he was young still. We got him when he was 18, and then by the time he went to Dallas, he was just coming off, injury, and still finding himself. So maybe he just wasn't ready, and he was a young pup, so he got shell shocked maybe a little bit too. I'm hoping this is the other thing I wanted to talk about with Kristaps that I was thinking about too. When Kristaps was here, the one thing I appreciated about him is that he loved being a Knick, but he was like impressionable too. Like, he sucked everything up. Like, he was one of those like happy to be here type of guys. He loved the fans. He loved the treatment. He loved being able to talk to Carmelo Anthony one-on-one. Like, Carmelo Anthony is a player that he looked up to as a kid. So I think that also, when you got all this going on, Carmelo Anthony's in your ear trying to tell you what to do, but Carmelo's Carmelo and you're Kristaps, you're 7 feet. You know what I mean? I feel like it's good, some nuggets that Carmelo, must have given him, but it's also better when you find out who Kristaps is. Like, and I think now Kristaps knows who he is. Like, I think he knows his game. This is how I play. This is what I'm not Carmelo Anthony. You know what I mean? So I kind of feel like now is when, if you were going to take a chance on Kristaps, now is now, because the guy knows who he is. He's got rid of the bad element. It's his brother, but the bad agent element. So I think now he's matured and grown up. And you could see that just by the press conferences, because no player has to tell you about the past and where they were wrong. He don't need to say he don't owe anybody anything. But the fact that he even chose to do it shows you that he cares. So I have a
question for you, Ron.
Yeah.
So you're in on bringing in KP, correct?
Well, yes, but no, not by himself. Okay. But go ahead with your question.
But let's say, for example, your scenario, right? You bring him in, right? And say you bring him in with somebody else, right? Okay. If he's the addition, who's the subtraction?
I may be in the minority here, but I was pretty comfortable with what I saw with Isaiah Hartenstein as a backup. I think Isaiah Hartenstein is probably top. I mean, I don't even know. Maybe he's higher than that. As a backup center in the league, I think he's probably top 15, maybe even top 10. So I'm thinking about backup centers and what they actually do. He might be top 10, maybe number 10 in the league as a backup center for what he brought to the Knicks defensively. And I'm taking it in totality because the first part of the season was bad, but the second part of the season was really good. So if you even it out, maybe he's top 10. Yeah, I don't know.
I think just real quick, Hartenstein did a great job of solidifying his position as the backup center moving forward. Right.
Yeah. Okay. So I think I'm comfortable with him as a backup. So, and if I'm thinking about it, I say Kristaps is a decent defender. He's not Mitch, but I think he's a decent defender. And plus, what he does on the offensive side is going to put pressure on their defense, is going to change what they got going on. So that's going to account for something. But it's not like he's a slouch on defense. And 1.5 blocks per game is a nice number too. So, yeah, I would trade Mitch and maybe obviously probably something else for Kristaps. Mitch would have to go. I would even be comfortable with saying maybe even Mitch and Obi. I don't know how much it's going to take something, you know what I mean? Some picks or whatever too, but maybe even Mitch and Obi would have to go to get
money wise. You have to throw Evan in there too.
Yeah, but that's a money thing. That's definitely.
I hear what you said. You're just going with player personnel type.
Yeah. Just like what would the Wizards get back that they could actually use? So yeah, I would think something like that. But I think Mitch would go, and I think some Knicks fans would be okay with that. People love Mitch, but Mitch barks, man. So if you're gonna bark, you gotta be with the bite. So we saw it in the Cleveland series. We didn't see it so much in the Miami series. And if you want to improve the team, and yet you want to keep certain pieces, because you tell me if I could trade Obi and Mitch, and I could bring in Porzingis to go along with Julius, and you people who want to keep RJ and have Brunson and pay Hart, I'm okay with that. Now, like I said, I don't want to stop there. For me, the only other things that you need to do to make me feel more comfortable, I've been saying this, I need insurance. So you bring in KP, I also need you to go out there and bring in a backup point guard. I need a backup point guard, that we can depend on when Brunson's out of the game, that we don't miss a beat. Not Brunson type, but, the offense still has some semblance of some concept. It's not stagnant. Somebody knows how to move the ball and maybe knock down an open shot, and play some defense too. Can't be a sieve out there. And then also get a 3-and-D guy. Now, obviously, the 3-and-D guy wouldn't be a Jaylen Brown caliber, not even a Mikal Bridges caliber. But if you can find a young player that can give you that type of, maybe, if you give him the ball, he can give you 10 points. He'll knock down those open shots, but play solid defense. I'll take that because you already upgraded offensively by bringing in KP. So, yeah, that's what I would need to see, those three things. I need the backup point guard and the 3-and-D guy to go along with KP, because KP could get hurt. So at least I know if KP gets hurt, I brought in somebody who could knock down an open shot and give me that D from the wing position. I brought in somebody who could knock down an open shot and give me that backup point guard, playmaker type thing that I need, or facilitator type thing that I need, because we were so stagnant with the bench sometimes. That's an upgrade to me, even if we lose KP for a little bit. So it's like a contingency plan. But altogether, if everybody's healthy, I think the Knicks could be a problem. That's my thought.
Yeah, I got you. Good stuff.
So that's KP, guys. That's right. That's this guy. So yeah, I think sometimes, and I wouldn't be surprised if some people didn't even know KP played this well, because out of sight, out of mind sometimes. But yeah, considering he got hurt for that stretch of time, and then having to go from the Knicks to Dallas and then to the Wizards, these are pretty damn good numbers. So, okay, KP, we'll take a look. So staying in the same breath, same team, some people may even say that this is a lot more realistic, that this could happen. I don't know. Kyle Kuzma, folks. So Kyle Kuzma, and let me just shoot. Where is it? Let me hit this button. There. Oh, where is he? Is that him? Nope, it's not him. Gotta type it in again. Come on, man. Hold on, because I just realized that I don't have heights here, but you guys know. I mean, Porzingis is 7'3". Kyle Kuzma is 6'9". Okay, so there you go. 6'9", 221 pounds. 21.2 points per game, 7.2 rebounds, 3.7 assists, half a steal, half a block. 44% from the field, 33% from three, 73% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
The numbers aren't Porzingis numbers overall, but they're not bad numbers. And he's somebody that I think is in consideration. But once again, same thing with Kyle Kuzma. You can't stop with Kyle Kuzma. You bring in Kyle Kuzma, you need to have some insurances, not because of his health, but just because he's not great at everything. He's good at certain things, and he goes up and down. Sometimes he looks like he's the best thing that you've seen in a long time, and then he's just pedestrian. You know, he can give you 40 points in a game, and then he can give you 12. You know, so you know, I'm on the fence with Kyle Kuzma because I'm just not sure if he's the answer defensively. But he might be a better defender at that 3 position than RJ Barrett. So it's I'm real iffy on this one, guys. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Jay Boogie, what do you think about Kyle Kuzma?
I think Kuz's going to play as good as his point guard is on the floor. So I look for like Jalen Brunson, you know what I'm saying, pretty much dictate more of his game more than anything. Now you talking about somebody that can catch and shoot, somebody can take it off the dribble, somebody that can go to the basket, somebody that can run the floor. You know what I'm saying? You talking about playoff mode, you talking about championship experience, you know, and you talk about filling a gap, which is the 3. You know what I'm saying? So those are a lot of scenarios, you know, that puts me in favor with him. You know what I'm saying? But only thing that really like holds me back, well, I ain't gonna say it holds me back because he already proved himself inside of big markets. He already played in Los Angeles. I remember him saying that, yo, he wants to play in a big market. So I know that he wants up out of DC. You know what I'm saying? It fills a gap. It fills a gap. Whereas we can get stronger all the way across the board, depending on what you give up. We can get stronger across the board as far as him playing the 3, then RJ sliding to his natural would be the 2, and Grimes coming off the bench to strengthen the bench. That's 3 gaps that we can have filled up, you know, with a move like, you know, bringing this guy over here. It's a 50-50 situation. But if something like that was to happen, it'd be another sign and trade. What am I putting in there? What am I giving up? But I wouldn't be hurt by the situation. I just need the team to continue on mashing the gas and becoming better than where they were this season. You got to continue on mashing the gas because pretty much everybody is in the West. The East has gotten weaker, and I need to continue on getting stronger amongst our team. I must continue on celebrating it. It's 2 hands, 10 fingers, 10 games away from a Broadway trip. 10 games. That was it. You know, so, you know, bad as people make it seem how the season was, you know what I'm saying? Because the way it ended, you got to look inside the reality of it that, yo, we was 10 games and a couple of tweaks here and there, you know what I'm saying? Yo, we could be in position doing some things, but being that we missed out on it, now you got to fill those gaps and make sure that when the time arrives and we're in that position again, we got guys that can fight, that can swing. And I know this guy, he can get a bucket, but I think his best play comes along with a general on the floor. You know, he played great alongside with LeBron. You know what I mean? Somebody that know how to, you know what I'm saying, have control of the game and have control of him, whereas he don't get crazy out of the way. Like you said, he can go off and, you know what I'm saying, he can come to the game and his hair dyed in some tight color and he's gonna drift off the space some daggone where for the whole 48. We need somebody to come in and stay locked in, stay tuned in. And I just believe that our setting, what we have in New York City and inside the New York Knicks organization, as far as the locker room, if we can deal with Julius, we can deal with anything inside the brotherhood of our locker room. I really like that, you know what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of leaks going out. What happened? This happened. We don't have, you know, blow-ups in there. Only thing you have is the little Julius Randle things, and majority of those things happen on the court. You don't have those type situations really going off the court. Maybe size, you know, an interview, don't go to an interview, or those small things like that. So I think we have enough strength inside our locker room, you know, overseers in our office that, you know, that can keep this guy focusing on what the game structure and the game plan is. It can work out in our favor. Like I said, we don't have a 3. You know what I'm saying? We have RJ playing the 3, even though it's small ball type league. But if we could get him to his natural, and then Grimes coming off that bench, you know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. That's more buckets all the way across the board.
Okay. D, what's your thoughts?
Well, I was going to ask you guys: is RJ a 3? Right. So you need a 3. It's just a matter of, for right price, as you guys are talking about, how you go play chess. You know, what pieces you're moving, what pieces you're replacing. So you definitely have to be in the market for these type of things. I personally think Kuzma could play the 3 and 4, but JJ brought up a fantastic point in the chat right now. And he goes, I don't know if I really like Kuzma at the 3 and RJ at the 2 because of their below average shooting. And so that's something to think about. It's a great point by JJ. But regardless, that my counter to that, and he's my guy, is that we don't have a 3. So if I'm not cashing in a lot of chips, so to speak, if I'm not overpaying Kuz, and I'm not giving up a lot and hardly any draft capital for something that wasn't there last year, I think I might have to consider that.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, he's interesting, man, because he definitely has talent, and like we've seen in spurts, like he is like a firecracker, man. When he's on, he is a problem. Like you can't guard him. When he's on, he's a problem, bro. Like we've seen him. We saw it firsthand when he played the Knicks that one time. We won the game, but I think he almost brought them back. Like he was hitting threes from all over the place. This guy.
And one thing that he showed in his years in Washington so far, because he was playing with LeBron. See, when you play with LeBron, you're stuck in a corner. Well, prime LeBron, but but now with Washington, we're able to see him with the ball in his hand, especially with Beal out so much the last 2 years. So we got to see different dimensions of his game that we weren't able to see when he was with LA. And one thing that we just saw this year is that, the 3-point percentage is not too great, and that's understandable. Field goal percentage could go up a little bit more. But one thing that Kuz did prove is that he could create his own shot, which is something that, besides Jalen Brunson, is not consistent on this roster. So that's a thing to consider as well.
Yeah,
half court or transition.
Correct.
And he can grab the rebound, and you can go fill positions, and he can push it up the rock. There's a lot to be said about him.
He's a bucket sometimes. I think with him, maybe I don't know what it is. Maybe it's focus. Sometimes he just doesn't stay. No problem. He doesn't stay locked in into the game, because the guy can do this every night, and it surprises me that he doesn't. But he definitely has the talent and the ability to be very interesting out there on the court for you, and I would not be mad at him. But like I said, once again, it still goes back to the same thing. And I like how you said that he can play either at the 3 or the 4, and you might even prefer seeing him at the 4.
Or either or, because I think
either or. It still goes back to the same thing. If, say, we get a Kyle Kuzma, he comes in and he plays the 3, and we retain Julius Randle somehow.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then instead of now I'm saying that we need that 3 and D guy, because I guess Kyle Kuzma becomes the guy, whether he's great at D or not. Then I want a sound backup power forward now, a guy who can rebound and give you some buckets. He don't have to shoot from 3, but if he can score around the rim, and he got a little touch, give you a little floater, but consistent, that if you give him the ball, the defense is not just gonna say, okay, well, he's passing it, he's not shooting at all. You know what I mean? Like someone who can score a bucket around the paint get you some of those easy baskets, as well as give you rebounds. You know, I don't, you know, there's some guys out there, but you know, you still have to do that, upgrade there, and then still backup point guard. We need a backup point guard. I don't care what we do. We need a backup point guard. So if you do that, once again, I'm still okay with it, because I still think there's a way to, you know, that you're improving the roster. It doesn't have to be the big name. It just has to be the right name, or the right names. So I think that's my opinion with regards to that. And I think in the end, you know, Knicks fans will be pretty happy with the overall product. They may look at a guy like Kyle Kuzma and say, okay, well, he can score, and he's not a terrible rebounder, and you know, about 4 assists a game. He moves the ball. It doesn't stay stagnant with him. So that's good. You can use that in different ways. 44% from the field is not horrible. 33% from three. You would like that number to go up, but you're not looking to him in that case. Like, as much as the Knicks would like to stretch the game out and be better on the perimeter, you know, the thing about Kuzma is can he shoot from the perimeter? Yeah, he has his moments. He's up and down sometimes consistent wise, but he can score. So, you know, you're going to get a guy who can score from that spot. Yeah. And the free throw shooting is not terrible, but I never understand guys who can shoot a little bit. That this number is 73%. I'm assuming as he gets older in the league, that number is going to go up, because I never understand that. These guys can shoot, but they can't shoot a set free throw shot. I don't know. It's surprising to me. But yeah, so hopefully they get that together, and you know, he's possibly somebody that the Knicks can look to target.
Yeah. Here's the big thing too, before you move on.
Yeah, go ahead.
So you gotta pay money, right? When you're competing.
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta be very careful who you're paying. So the question becomes that when we talk about these names, right, we do have to put in the equation as to how much are they getting paid.
Correct.
Like Francisco in the chat, for example, he said, well, how much is it going to cost? Which is a very good question, because you want to make sure you're not overpaying. And if you are overpaying, you want to make sure it's for that right guy, right? But you want to make sure you're not overpaying, because then you're going to clog yourself up as to making other moves.
Right. That is 100% very true. Very, very good point. And so that's another thing. Like, you know, these names, this is where it gets funky, because these are names that we're throwing out there, like guys that the Knicks can consider and still can put together a formidable squad. How they get it done, and can they get it done, you know, that remains to be seen. That would take some finagling. The capologist over there, Brock Aller, would have to work some magic, and he may not even be in position to work magic. But that's when you guys wind up seeing Knicks do some stuff like a trade of somebody for something that you wouldn't expect, and then they wind up cutting the guy, and you're like, well, why did they do that? And then those are the Brock Aller moves that pay off later in life. Like, you're like, what?
Another thing too is that realistically, right, you know, and it's not to burst the bubble, but this is realism, is that the way we're constructed, we can't really make any big moves like that.
That's very true.
The way we're constructed. So when people are saying we're coming back, they're 100% right. Do I disagree with it? Of course I do. But they're 100%. I do understand the reality. And reality is that most of the guys that you saw this year will be back next year, because they're in a ground where it's like you have to prove your commodity before people sell high on the market, right? And although Knicks had a good season and stuff like that, and they made it to the second round, there's still things that have to be questioned. And what are those things? Is that, can this roster presently fit the way it is, right? Can it go to a next level, right? And that's a big question. And that's like a mystery, you know what I'm saying? Because we wouldn't know to next season. But based on what we saw this year, there were things that were very clear and apparent. If you just put the windshield wiper to the bias this real quick, there were things that were very clear and apparent is that we do need some tooling up with this roster because it is clunky. And there are things that don't make sense. And why do you think why? You don't mind if I go on a little tangent real quick, right?
Okay. Go ahead. No, it's fine.
Like, this is why I was giving Tibbs so much credit to the season. And I got a laundry list of things that I got wrong with him. But I was giving him a lot of credit because he did something very important that nobody's talking about. And what it is that he cut the possessions and he cut the pace percentage. You see? So what he did is that when he did that, the numbers defensively looked better. Because if you remember, right, before that, we were like amongst the worst of the league. Defensively, offensively, we were always okay throughout the season. But defensively, we were horrific. So what he did was that he cut the rotation. He cut down the pace, right? Because we were like 12th or 13th before he made the big move as far as pace percentage. And then we went down to 27. Then we went to 27, 28 at the end of the season. So we cut down the possessions and we cut down the pace percentage. So that was actually very smart of him. But it's a high tactic. It's those type of things where it's like, well, once I know that you're behind that shrubbery bush there, the game's over type of thing.
Right.
And because how I know that, RJ Barrett, Jalen Brunson, and Julius Randle, respectfully, in their positions, were in top 10. And I'm being nice with this. We're in top 10, the worst at their positions and opponents' points per possessions. Opponents' points per possession. So you got to bring all these things together. And what that told me is that I think they did a very good job of pulling something under teams' a rug, so to speak, and they made something happen out of it. And that's a great job. I really hope that they're not looking to come in with the same blueprint this year, because then you would have to look at teams historically like, what's their name? Like Atlanta, right? Atlanta made to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? People, man, Atlanta making some noise, bro. And they have not, I think they've won one game in the last two games in the last two playoff appearances. So, you know what I'm saying? So I think like blueprints, these guys live and breathe basketball, bro. So, they're going to be caught on the patterns, the tendencies, the frequencies of those tendencies and stuff like that. And they're going to tighten up on certain things. And you saw it with Eric Spoelstra against Miami. That there was at least a quarter per game in that series where he just attacked RJ Barrett on the weak side. And it was RJ and Bam Adebayo throughout the whole time. And there was nothing he could do about it because, one, RJ's not a good defender, and two, he's undersized for the position of which they're asking. So
it's true.
Stuff will have to be made, but I think the fan base is correct. I think they will come back to him, at least the majority.
Yeah, I think it's no way to kind of really move around that. The Knicks are just kind of in a position of we are a little strapped. We've made some commitments, and it takes a little time for a little space to open up so that they can have a little wiggle room. The time is right. It's not really right now. And then after that, then the wiggle room is over because now you're really locked into a lot of these contracts. But the Knicks, they may be in a position where they can make some noise this year if they make the right trade or maneuver. But don't expect much more after that, because once that happens, then, and depending on what they agree to, then they might be locked in for quite some time. And the Knicks team that you get is the Knicks team you're going to have for some years. Yeah. So it's either going to happen right now or it's going to happen next year in the offseason. Maybe they just decide to let these people go, let these contracts come off, and they have a little money to play with to make one move. And once that's done, they're locked in to Julius if he's still here for a little bit more. They're locked into Jalen for another couple years. They're locked into RJ. This is what's going to happen. This is going to be the team.
Yeah. So
let's keep that in mind. After that, the willing and dealing is going to dry up. But yeah. But I hear what you're saying, and I agree. But it just goes back to, what can they really do? And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. But it's going to take some time. And then, the improvements, they can be made. are definitely there to be made, because like you said, that's a good point bringing that up, D, the fact of what Tom Thibodeau might have noticed. And part of the reason why he said, well, I got to do this, because, you know, we know he got desperate. He was on that you're up out of here block.
It was getting hot.
So, yeah, it was getting hot. So he said, you know what? I'm Tom Thibodeau. Let me take a look at some things, because y'all ain't getting me out of here that quickly. I'm going to make it tough.
Right.
And, you know, shout out to him. I mean, he did some things. It worked out. All right. Let me just look at the chat real quick. And you know what? Let me just take a quick look. Just this might be after the fact, but I feel bad because, you know, I'm trying to get through this stuff, because last time, you know, we had a lot of people talking last week, so we didn't have a chance to get to this stuff. And so, but I do want to get to the chats, because some of you guys are weighing in on certain things as we're going through. And I just want to, even though it's a little after the fact, I still want to kind of acknowledge a little of it. I can't get to everything. It is what it is. But like, for example, BN says Kuzma put up numbers. Oh, and shout out to you, BN, by the way. Thank you for being here. He said Kuzma put up numbers on a bad team. That's very true.
You know, real quick, putting up numbers on a bad team has nothing to do with the team you're playing against. If you're playing against a stiff competition that night and you still putting up numbers, that doesn't make you a bad, you know, a bad person putting up good numbers on a bad team. You know, putting up good numbers on a bad team against a bad team, yeah, you could be like, oh man, he ain't doing nothing. But playing against somebody and you're putting up numbers, and I don't see them give some guys some business. You know, so just throw that out a little bit.
Okay. Shout out to Allah Wise. I appreciate you. Good to see you, my brother. D Coolest 718 is in the building. Salute to you. Gerard Charlotte is in the building. Salute. What's good? Interesting. Gerard said something that I kind of have been alluding to lately, even though it hasn't come up. It hasn't been the big thing. Remember how I said that throughout all of this, the one thing that I keep coming back to is, can Julius, even now we got Jalen Brunson here and Josh Hart, can Julius Randle play with RJ Barrett? We still haven't got an answer to that. And so Gerard was like, the story of this team will always be Randle versus RJ. It's interesting, because I don't know. That may be the issue. One of these guys may have to get out of here for the Knicks to really reach that next level, you know, that we're looking for. Because, you know, you're talking about baby, you know, baby one, baby two. Like, these guys are similar players when you think about it. Julius is better, of course, but at least right now he is. But like, I don't know. Yeah, what were you gonna say, D?
You know, Ron, that's a great point. So this is going to be year 4 with them together. No, year 5.
Right?
Because wasn't Randall here in RJ's rookie season? Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you got year 5, year 4 with the current regime, and we still haven't figured that out. Is that concerning?
I honestly think, but I don't, you know, I don't know if the Knicks have that. This is the thing I've been talking about with this front office and Leon Rose. Leon Rose, no matter what he's been doing, no matter how much work he has to put in the back channels, World Wide West, whatever they got going on, it's still the safe choice. Like, going after Donovan Mitchell was the safe choice. Yes, it didn't happen, but that's because you're playing hardball with a guy who likes to play hardball. He made it difficult. But, you know, 9 times out of 10, another GM, Donovan Mitchell will be wearing a New York Knicks uniform. You know what I mean? So it's the safe choice. Jalen Brunson, that's the safe choice. Those relationships were built. It's all about how do you do it and not have the NBA come down on you for the most egregious thing ever. You know, but it was coming. Josh Hart, I didn't even think about it. I forgot all about the Villanova connection with Josh Hart. But if I was thinking about it, I should have said, you know what? This is a no-brainer. Like Leon Rose in the front office is doing stuff that is safe to them, to their relationships. When are we going to see Leon Rose go out there and do something that's not safe, that he's going to have to take a chance with? That's really, it's either going to work or it's not going to work. And if it don't work, it's on you. That's what I want to see. And so that's why I'm like, I don't know. I personally think that with everything you've seen from this Knicks team, with the level of success that they've had, and we haven't seen RJ Barrett and Julius Randle really play that well together when you think about it. It's like one or the other. When RJ's doing his thing, Julius is quiet. When Julius is doing his thing, RJ is usually quiet. Sometimes you might see, but you don't see them really go off together. So I don't think it would be that crazy to see one of them go in order to get the team to a different level. Now, like I said, it's not addition by subtraction. It's one of these guys is going so that we can get a better player that's going to come in and make a difference here. But I thought that this offseason might be the offseason where it actually happens, but I don't think so because I just don't trust Leon's. I don't know if Leon's got the stones for that. I don't know.
Very interesting.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I don't want to just get rid of, like I said, it's not addition by subtraction. I don't want to just trade RJ or trade Julius just to get him off the team. It's got to be for a purpose, bringing somebody back that's going to help this team that's better. But I just think that I don't know if these two guys can play together. And I'm okay with keeping either one of them. I like them both. I just, I just don't know which one you'd keep.
Well,
what if you had the choice? Sorry, Jacob.
No, go ahead.
No, what were you saying, D?
Oh, what if you had the choice? What if you had to choose one? I'm sorry, I keep putting you on the spot today. I put myself on the spot today. Don't worry about it.
If I had a choice, I'd probably move RJ.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd probably move RJ because RJ is a lot to be desired defensively. He's also inconsistent offensively. Now, I know Julius might have looked bad to you, to a lot of Knicks fans out there, but he looked bad in the playoffs after coming back from injury. Throughout the regular season, Julius was killing this year for the most part. So I'm not questioning him offensively. He's not perfect, but I'm not questioning him on that side of the ball too much. In the playoffs, it's a different story. But RJ, I mean, we went through like a month, 2 months, maybe of some really bad RJ. And then, he has his up and downs, and then his shooting percentage is very inefficient. Julius is too. But I don't know. I just feel like if you need to improve the team, an upgrade at RJ's position would be the way to go.
So you think it'll be easier?
Yeah, I think it's easier to do that than have to go out there, trade Julius, and see if you can get somebody that equals that production. So, because I think you can go out and trade somebody to replace RJ and get exactly what RJ is giving you and more. You try to trade Julius, you need two pieces. You need somebody that may go out there and be able to score like Julius, but he may not necessarily be able to rebound like Julius and do the other physical things that Julius can do. So you might need to go out and get somebody else that can bring you that. You might trade Julius for a small forward. You got the small forward, he can score, give you that aspect and play defense, but he can't get the rebounding. Now you got to go get yourself another power forward to help with the rebounding that you're losing by losing Julius. So I think it takes two to replace Julius, whereas it could take one to replace RJ.
That's interesting. Interesting point.
What were you going to say, Jay Boogie, before? Sorry.
I don't even remember it. But just count it up as old age sometime, man. Let me be old, What if see me like in that scenario, that question right there, to me, I'm moving who's gonna give me the most access. Must be benefit most better for the team. What which one of them brings in the most fars with me. But the thing about Julius, like, what if you don't get the type players that can put up his numbers, but you free up cap space and maybe get picks or something, you know what I'm saying? Where you still have money to go do your own thing instead of somebody giving you something for him. That works out. That works out too. I got to keep thinking in my mind, you know, Archie hasn't played on a new contract yet. So that's ready to kick in this season coming. So Julius is what, second year? So he got what, 2 more years after the season. But the thing is, he has a player option for that last year. You know, whether I can stay here or I want to opt out. And we all know that Julius, if he's going to opt in that money there, opted into that. And then the thing is, sooner or later, and Julius is one of my guys. You know, I rocks with him, got a little contact with him or whatever. But you're gonna have to sooner or later get rid of Julius because his contract says that. His contract says 250-something million that next contract. Because he's a 2-time All-Star, he's a 2-time All-Defensive player. And Lord knows if he comes up in here this year and put up them All-Star numbers before the All-Star game come, he's going right back to it. So you're not gonna I don't see us giving Julius that maximum effort contract and everything. But I don't think it's hard as it is to everybody to move Julius. Because I still say Julius might be the best third option it is in the league. He's not a number 1. And he's /2. But you put him in as a third option on a team, whereas I could just go bully. I could be the enforcer instead of me being a bucket maker, you know what I'm saying, and all that there. I can still get 14 and 12 now instead of having to do all that. I don't think it's many third options it is in the league better than Julius, whether he's here or on another team. You know what I'm saying? Like if you put him, say for example, you put him with Phoenix, he already know what it is. I'm going to beat somebody up. Ain't nobody touching Kevin. Ain't nobody touching Devin. And that's Devin is my man. We was in Kentucky together. I'm going to be enforcer. That works out for him. But his problems, it really is, we tried to make him into something he really never was. Devin was the one in Kentucky. He never been the number 1 in New Orleans. He never was nowhere near the number 1 in L.A. But when he got here, you know, we tried to make him into something to satisfy, you know what I'm saying, the people, because really nobody was coming here. Nobody came here. So when he came here, you know, you tip the hat off and try to make, and hopefully this guy can become something that, you know, we know he's not. And he did a great job trying to be a number 1 option in it, but that's not his game. So you know, sooner or later, we're going to have to make a pitch. We're going to have to get rid of him or get rid of RJ. One of the two is going to have to go because it doesn't coexist, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that. But whoever brings me the most, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to move that guy.
Good stuff.
That makes a lot of sense there. And, you know, it's interesting because while you were talking, I was just thinking about something. Well, you know what? Am I going to forget? No. Let me just say what's up to people. Shout out to Kevin Middleton in the building. Salute to you. Okay. Appreciate you.
Kev.
Yeah, he said Randall and RJ is the same as Mitchell and Garland. One plays well, the other plays bad. A lot of that happens with them too over there in Cleveland. Don't get it twisted.
We literally saw it throughout a playoff series.
Yes, sir. Good point. Shout out to D. D, appreciate you. I haven't seen you in the chat in a minute. I think I've seen you before though. Thank you for tuning in as always, supporting. Appreciate you. D Moore 914 in the building. He's booing something, but this is out of context, so we don't know what he's booing. I grabbed
maybe he saw a ghost or something like that.
I take the boo, man. Thank you, man.
Nah, I don't know that's for you though. I don't think that's for you. 2 tears in a bucket in the building. What's good? He said, what about an IQ Obi package? See, this is the bad thing when you're not consistent with the chat. You don't know exactly what they're referring to. I'm sorry, chat. I'm just trying to get you guys the content. I apologize. Appreciate y'all.
That had to go back to something dealing with DC.
Could be. D Danny in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you. Okay. He said, Leon, please import KP, Jerami Grant, Nas Reed, and DiVincenzo. Export Julius, Mitch, Hartenstein. Make it happen. Hey, I mean, listen, if you could get that mix of players for for that mix, I'm
yeah.
with it.
Hey,
Shout out to you.
Real quick, and I'm gonna let you continue on because I know the chat is important. When you talk about Leon, please do something. I'm gonna tell you, and I do know of this. The next time Leon is in position, he's not gonna hesitate and think that nobody else can come through and make a move. That was the whole scenario. He didn't think nobody else was gonna come through and swoop with Donovan. If he's in that position again for something that he's not gonna hesitate. He's gonna blow the gasket. I'm just telling y'all that. That I do know. That I have heard that he felt like he played too long with, and nobody knew that Cleveland was gonna come back door and come get that. And that's what happened. So he already know and understand. The next time he's in position and he wants something, he's going to go get it. So let's just pray that whatever he swings and go get is going to be a monster for the team.
That's very fair, Jay Boogie. I definitely think he learned a lot from that experience with Danny Ainge. And you know what? Listen, that's one of the, as a new GM, not really knowing too much about being a GM for a franchise, president of basketball operations, that's one of the best tests to have against one of the best to ever do it. Like going up against Danny Ainge and how Danny Ainge will play around. Look, if nothing prepares you better than that, I don't know what else you can get. Like he's the blueprint for you better be on your toes when it comes to negotiating with this dude. And he learned and he got burned. And it is what it is. Shout out to Nice in the building. Salute to you, my brother. Always good to see you. Hope your day is going well.
Bruh.
Yep. Knicks won today in the building. He said RJ was good the rest of the postseason, other than game 6 against Miami, games 1 and 2 against Cleveland. Oh, he's talking to Keith. But you know what? But that is part of the thing. Let me tell you something. That's part of what's holding on to the notion of keeping RJ around. Don't think the Knicks brass don't see that. If RJ had a playoff like some of his regular season work, let me tell you something. I'm almost 100% sure that RJ would be out of here this offseason. I'm almost 100% sure that if he stunk it up in the playoffs, he would be up out of here. Yeah. They would figure out a way to get him up out of here. But he was really good in the playoffs. Now I remember. So let me go back to what I was going to say before, guys, because I had thought about it while things were being said. It would be nice for Julius Randle to just go out there and play basketball, but like Julius Randle, like take what I want to take. Don't just take what the defense is giving me, and don't just go into this whole. You know what I feel like? I feel like Julius Randle followed the RJ Barrett blueprint from last year. RJ Barrett said, "I want to average 20 points per game. I'm going to take shots," and he took shots at very inopportune times. Thibodeau gave him the green light. He did whatever he had to do. I feel like this year, Julius Randle did the same thing. The difference is Julius Randle was a lot more efficient with it when it came to shots in the field. But what he did was he jacked up threes. You know how many threes Julius Randle jacked up per game throughout the season? Like he just said, I'm letting it fly, B. So I feel like if he could just play, right, and not have to worry about, I got to jack up these threes to get my numbers up, or I got to take this shot because the defense is giving it to me instead of taking my shot. I think that Julius might get back to being a lot more efficient, solid player. Maybe his numbers take a dip a little bit, but you just see a better basketball player overall. I'm just putting it out there that's just my thought. Like I was thinking about this and I'm like, man, Julius really went after it this year. Now, granted, he might say, and Thibodeau might say it worked. Look, got you to be an all-star, got you to be on the third team all-NBA.
Second.
So that's the problem. When you see that, you're like, damn, it did work. So how do you change? How do you go away from that? And that's why I'm saying you can't do that. You can't worry about Julius Randle. If Julius Randle's going to be a Knick, let Julius Randle play the way Julius Randle plays. You got to go get guys to help give you what Julius Randle is bad at or what he's not giving you. Get some other guys to do it because Julius has got to be Julius. Same thing with RJ. I want RJ to work on some things in the offseason. If he's going to come back as a Knick, I need him to improve. But I know what RJ is. I got to go out and get some other guys that give me what RJ doesn't give me because this is what RJ is. That's the only way to deal with these guys. The Knicks are in that position. And like D said, most likely they're coming back with the same squad.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out a way to do it because they ain't going nowhere. Just a thought.
And to veggie back what you just said about Randall in the threes, he averaged 8.5, right? Which is a lot, right? But they had to because they needed space.
That's a part of the thing too. Yeah, good point.
So when he was hot, right? It was like Moses in the Red Sea. Like it just completely opened when he was hot. But when he wasn't hot, it got very congested. Traffic hour type of stuff, and that's why I'm saying that's part of the retooling. And you brought up a very good point. And I know you want to get back to the chat. I'll be quick. That when I asked you the question about Randall, one thing we have to consider is that, well, where are you trying to go right now, right? And we all know damn well Knicks are trying to win at a high level. They've made that very clear, right? Okay, good. So then it becomes that if you're asking for what, because the reason why I'm asking is because something has to happen, right? This RJ and Randall hasn't really worked too well, like as far as them together, and it made it hold us back in certain respects, right? So if that's the case, right? How are you going to fix the issue? Or are you going to fix the issue? And if you are going to fix the issue, that's why I asked the question, which one would you take, right? And then if you're looking to win right now, that's a tough one, man, because RJ showed you he could play in the playoffs. Randall has shown that he can't. But Randall has better regular season accolades than RJ. So how do you prioritize it? How do you break it down? It's very shaky stuff, bro.
Yeah, the Knicks are in a very tricky situation with this, guys. And being a guy who loves sports, and I've seen this happen throughout watching sports and watching my favorite teams, there's always that situation where you got a guy that's dealing with circumstances, but you're a team. I got to get better. I want this team to go. I can't worry about the circumstances. I got to make these decisions because there's always going to be something. But that's how you come into the situation where you wind up getting burned. But sometimes you got to make the decision. You just don't know when is the time to do it. Do I give it another year or do I do it now? I think a lot of people feel like the Knicks deserve, or Julius Randle deserves another year, right? I'm on the fence about it because we saw 2 playoffs he didn't play well in. This year was kind of funky because I said going into the playoffs, being hurt with that ankle and then going up against tough defensive teams and trying to find your shot after you got no rhythm is very difficult. It's tough. So I don't know. We're talking about guys who are not the most efficient to begin with. Right. And then you telling me I'm coming back and I don't have a rhythm. I don't expect great numbers from that situation. I do get mad at some of the effort I saw by Julius on the defensive end because there's no excuse for that. That has nothing to do with no rhythm. You go out there, you play. You see the guy going behind you. That's because you didn't play the defense you're supposed to. That's a different story. Yeah.
And that's the big thing for me, Ron, with Randall. It's like, and I know he's coming back, right? But, just speaking from our own perspectives, that was the big thing. Okay, you didn't shoot well. Got it. Okay, you were dealing with, everybody's dealing with injury. I really don't like to hear that type of stuff. But, okay, maybe, you've had a couple of bad games here. It's the effort that you just alluded to. And it was too many damn times where he's committing a turnover and 6'1" Jalen Brunson is there on a 3-on-1 contesting shots. And it's like, and I asked the questions like, dude, like, wait, hold on a second. Like, I understand the regular season accolades. I understand the relevancy, and I get that. But moving forward, that's what you want. Mm-hmm. You want a guy because he quit. I'm sorry, he quit. Because there's no way that you're in a playoff atmosphere like that with an injured Jimmy Butler, right? With you splitting the first 2 games at home, and you not get hungry to say, you know what, we could take these guys out. Let me do everything possible on my end as one of the captains and anchors of this team to go ahead and make sure that we have the best position possible to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. We didn't see that. We actually saw that more from RJ. And some of his stuff is ludicrous too defensively. But we actually saw that oomph more from RJ than from Julius Randle. So the front office is on the clock. and they're in a tough situation. They're kind of in a cooker in a bit because if you have a thing where, like, for example, like after Cinderella, remember they came back with just about everything and we saw the season. If they do that and that happens, which I hope it doesn't, but if it does, heads are gonna roll.
Yeah, that's very true. And like the last thing I'm going to say about this, and we move on, is, you know, Emmanuel quickly was a ghost, right? We didn't see him offensively really throughout these playoffs, but defensively he still contributed. He still hustled. He gave effort, right? So you can kind of let that go, even though we needed him offensively, would have helped. Then he got hurt. It's a different thing when you're dealing with Julius Randle, though. Because if Julius showed us the effort on defense and did those things, then we could say, okay,
Right.
you know, he made up for it in other aspects. You know, he created turnovers, or he kept certain players at bay. He held Bam down so Bam couldn't score those extra points. Because if you're not getting your offensive game going, we depend on those points, then you got to slow down them offensively. Like, you got to slow down what they got going on. Take Bam out of the game so that Bam can't hurt us, because all the points that you're not giving us, if Bam is scoring, he's making up for that. And that's the difference. That could be the difference in the game. But if you slow Bam down so they're not getting anything from the power forward position as well as we're not, it's a wash. And then the rest of the guys got to do what they got to do. But when you're not doing that, you know, you're hurting the team. So I mean, that's a question. Like I said, I'm not saying just throw him away, because I appreciate what Julius has done for this Knicks team, and he's wanted to be here. I'm just saying you have to really evaluate it and say, how much more am I going to give you before I decide that, okay, I'll make the mistake. I'll let you go somewhere else and watch you blow up over there. There's only so much I can take, you know. So it's a you know, it's a slippery slope. You never know when to make the decision and how it's going to burn you. So we'll see what happens with that. Like I said, I'm just all about the Knicks improving, not about getting rid of people to get rid of them, just improving. And if it takes getting rid of this type of player to get me the return, like Jay Boogie said, who can give me the best return that I'm willing to let go? That's where I'm going with it too. I agree with that. Okay.
I do think Julius and Jalen are more like this than Jalen and RJ are like this. Because I think back to the beginning of the season, Julius looked like he wasn't being Julius for like the first 12, 13 games, somewhere like that. And I think Jalen went to him and said, yo, you got to be you. Do you. And Julius really started taking off. I don't like making no excuses for nobody, but I did go back and look at game 74, 5, and 6. And saw Julius healthy, and looked at his movement compared to some of his movement when he came back from the playoffs. They wasn't the same. And then I thought, so if this guy came back on 17 days, and I listened to them when they said Obama had the high ankle sprain. He's been missing for 44 days.
Oh, you know, Mo Bamba?
Yeah, in that Lakers series. High ankle sprain, he was missing for 44 days. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't played. The word is he might try and give it a go the next game. And that was already deep in the playoff. I think game 3 or game 4 of the Lakers Denver thing. And then I'm thinking this guy came back on 17 games, and then, you know, he re-injured it. You know what I'm saying? The same ankle against Cleveland. Now, how? I don't know about his mobility, you know, anymore. You know, not to make an excuse, but I do think he was a little bit tentative, scared. He wanted to be there so bad, but he really wasn't. But I think he tried to thug it out, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, but I don't know how that injury was bothering him, because it really wasn't nobody that could really bother him on that Miami team compared to what Cleveland did. If Julius is Julius, and coming off the way he demolished him, averaging almost 30-something points a game against him but then again, like you said, that is the regular season. But I just pray and hope that the right situation comes about as far as our team. One thing I know, with Jalen Brunson on the squad, we're going to always, from right now, be between 4 and 6. That's where our guard has got us. I think all them teams that we was in front of, we're gonna stay in front of them. The question is, can we move up? You know, can Philly break up this year? Can James go that way? Break up. Can Miami knock off Boston and they break up and we move up? You know what I'm saying? We're in a situation right now, as far as looking at the rest of this playoffs and looking at other people's moves. I think that's when we're going to counter on what we need to do just by seeing. Because if everybody's in the West and the East is getting weaker and we can only get stronger, we're in a good position.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah. I'm with that. I mean, I think that, you know, so it's a lot. It's a lot. We just got to see how it all plays out. There's going to be a lot of talk, man. Hold on 1 second. Let me just look at a couple things here. Shout out a couple more people. Okay, Knicks 100 in the building. Salute to you. Appreciate you as always. Thank you for tuning in, my brother. Let's see. Long Island Sound is in the building. Salute. Good to see you, my guy. Dripmore, the preferred barber of still Knicks fans and the Knicks community in the building. Let's go. Let's go. Julian Blum is here. What's good, Julian? Good to see you, brother. Travel Vibes is in the building. Wesley Robinson is here. Salute, my brother. Another Strong Island, New York in the building. Quick question was Kareem Grant said, "What up, twin?" He said, "Would you be okay if the Knicks just run it back?" I mean, yeah, I'm okay with it, but you can't really just run it back, right? You're gonna make some changes, but you're just keeping the guys who are out there that for the most part played and added something to the mix alive. Like, don't know what's gonna happen with Derrick Rose yet, but and shout out to Nothing But Knicks. Sim had a show about this maybe about a month ago where they were talking about Derrick Rose and how most likely Derrick Rose is going to come back, but not to keep him. I mean, well, Sim saw that, you keep him for like a clubhouse presence, right? Like he can come back on a different type of contract and just be like a Taj Gibson.
Man, for the Knicks. Funny, bro. I was just telling a couple of guys, I think Rose is going to come back next year at $5 million, like Taj Gibson the year before. There you go. So that he may come back in that capacity, right? But the other thing is, you may have to sign him too, because you may need to use him as contract filler to move because you're handicapped. So I know that sounds, for people that don't understand, like when you have these cap restrictions, you don't have a lot of money. Bringing back Derrick Rose because you can sign him, because he's already on your roster. You can sign him to a certain amount, whatever it is, and you can use that contract as cap filler to go along with the trade to go get somebody else. So the Knicks might not be able to let Derrick Rose just walk. He might be a bit more beneficial to come back, either to be used as cap filler in a trade or to be used as, on a lesser contract as a Taj Gibson type to help the team in that way, because apparently, guys do respect him in the clubhouse, in the locker room, and he the young guys really love him. So well, I mean, it would be a Udonis Haslem type of role, because
what's the other guy from the Warriors? What's his name? I must forget.
Andre Iguodala.
Iguodala, yeah.
But because he didn't play last year. What makes you think he's going to play this year? So I think it would be to that capacity if we're logically deducting.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I'm
an assistant coach or something like that, because the bench is weak. It's real weak as far as assistant coaches. I spoke upon that like a week and 2 weeks ago. As far as with Tom here, you got to remember Tom lost Woody, Tom lost Payne. When you look down that bench, I see Othello Harrington and all these guys. I need to strengthen up these assistants. So why I can't just give them in that same position and put them in assistant coach, role. I don't want to see I don't want to see Derek in another uniform and Tom looking down there asking you want to play because the crowd is going on, and then you got to put your headband in it to hold your dreads. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that no more. That's just me. I don't want to see that no more. If you're not playing, I need you to be able to do something else out of the uniform if you're going to be here. Because that little money, I can do something with it, especially when we money tied, we money strong. I need to figure out moves I got to do and got to make. I know what you are to the community. Love you, appreciate you for your whole career, everything you mean to fight back, how to get back and everything, you know what I'm saying? But here right now, when we trying to go ahead and do something and we're close at, I need all money ties that I have. And we're weak at assistant coaches, real weak. Only one we got down there really that's saying doing anything is I'm not really on that Johnny Bryant. That's just me. I'm not really all up. I mean, we know why Rick is here, but Rick has done some things working with the guards. But I need more assistant voices. And if it takes Derek and they're going to keep him here, give him an assistant coaching job. Maybe, you know, continue on liking them in the locker room, man. But I need that bread, man, to do something with this team. All that sugarcoating and they trying to make this person happy and fill out this role and all that. Friendship role is over with now after we get 10 games close to a parade on Broadway.
Damn right.
That tells me, you know what I'm saying, yo, we here. We can do something, you know what I'm saying? And that's what they need to get business-minded more instead of getting friendship-minded. You know, that's just where I'm at, you know, on anybody that's in the way far as us getting a championship. I love you, Derek, but your name is on the back of your back, and it ain't on the front of your chest and your heart. That says New York. That represents the Knicks. And that's where Boogie going to always stay at. Anybody that is in the way of the New York Knicks, I need to get rid of you. You know, and that's just me, man. I hope I ain't being too hard on the road, but you in the way, dude. You, Evan Fournier, all that, y'all in the way. Get these guys up out of here.
And Jay Boogie, that's fantastic. And that's exactly what guys like me and others have been trying to say the whole time. It's like, when are we going to see the business at work? Yeah. When are we going to see that? And this is the off season for it. And do you think that if they go back to their same type of friendship, type of nepotism type of thing, would you see the things that happened this year for next year? If you see that same type of attitude and cavalierness with the organization?
I mean, exactly. You continue on being friendly, we're going to continue on being soft. Brings softness. Being business-minded brings toughness. And, hey, trust and believe me, hey, they already don't tell you, yo, you're done. You're done after the season. They told him that early this season. When the team won't look at good going, you're not riding another wave next year. It's over with. They told him that early that. You think they're going to continue to bring him along? No, we're going to give him he's going to get a job over there next to somewhere, Alonzo Mourning and all them guys, and the Bob McAdoo's and all that going. He's going to get a job over there. And that's what I'm talking about as far as having established, you know, assistants and people inside your organization. We don't have that now that Woody's gone, Payne gone. What Julie's going to look? The Othello Harrington? What is he looking at? What are you going to do?
Yo, Boogie, you got my mind running, because now it's like, okay, look, if you feel, right, and there's guys that do feel that Tibbs hasn't gotten the best rosters, right? You know, it hasn't been like grade A, stuff of that nature, right? So if y'all boys, why don't you try putting the best roster around your guy that people consider a top 5, top 3 coach in this league? And because if he is a top 5, top 3, then that best roster should get us a ticket to at least the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that true?
That's your absolute 100 on that.
That's fair.
More than 100, you 1,000. You know what I'm saying? With the people that don't subscribe to your channel with that there. You got. I think Tom is going to really lay his force down, and this is the way it has to go. This is the way it has to go. I started with taking that 9 off RJ and put it in a rotation. If you're not doing it my way, you know what I'm saying? Then I'm cool to walk. But if you got me here, you're going to have to do it and trust in my way. Let me do it my way. But get me the type of personnel people that I need around there. You started with Josh. It don't stop there. It don't stop there. It don't get softer. and continue on get them tough, rugged, hard type guys. I need Josh to be Josh, but Josh need to continue on being Josh on that bench. That's what Josh does. Get me the rough, rugged type dudes that can be in this starting lineup so we can go ahead and do, because they don't really want to play us no more. And they know we're that close. But you gotta do it Tom's way. If Tom is here, do it Tom's way.
Great point, Jay Boogie, because they did. Right after he cut the rotation, the pace percentage went down, the possessions went down. That was all Tom Thibodeau.
Right.
So that's good stuff, bro, because that could be an indication of that maybe he will have a bigger hat, so to speak, when they're going ahead and making these moves this offseason. Because there's no way he sat there on the sideline for 6 games, looking through the film constantly, and did not say, yo, we need some plugs here and there in order. There's no way, bro. And if he didn't, then he should be fired today.
Yeah, I don't got it. That's why I said it jokingly, but I was serious. A few weeks ago, I was on, the Madam Show with Steph, Dope Soul, and I said it jokingly. That's why Tom stay up there by the report desk. He know he ain't got nothing down there. I ain't no need to go there. What they gonna tell me about being in this position? You know what I'm saying? So when I look down there, I really don't, just give me the. And I know it looks like at times I'm stuck. I don't do game changes and all this and that. But sometimes I ain't got nowhere else damn where to go. You ever think about that? The chat, Knicks fan? I don't have nowhere else to damn go. I don't push all my buttons. You know what I'm saying? You things that I have, you could have. You just to throw this out. You think Alex Burks couldn't have helped this team this year? You think that?
I mean, listen.
I mean, we would have had a backup point guard.
Yeah,
yes, we would have. I would have taken Alec Burks as the backup point guard. Don't make him the starting point guard because you got no other options.
Right, but I'm just alluding to guys that work for Tom that he likes. You can't get rid of them, especially when they got this to play, and then go get me some ice cream in 104-degree weather. It's gonna melt. Dripping.
Jay Boogie is all one right now, folks. Yeah, Julian Blum said new track by Jay Boogie, Jim. No hard feelings.
I'm working, man. I'm working just to answer. I'm working, man. This time I'm trying to put the Knicks in the club. I'm trying to club dance with the Knicks and everything. I'm trying.
There you go.
But I'm working, man. The season is coming.
All right, let's get to the next one. Get these done. Shout out to Kaiser Soze 718. Appreciate you as always. Good to see you, my brother. Thank you for being here and tuning in. Smash that like button, guys. We had what are we at? We had 68 likes. We got about 80 people in here watching. Let's get that like number up, man. Let's get to 2,000 likes today. Oh, my bad. Sorry, too many. My bad.
Nah, man, it's too many. That's a good mark there.
Angel Torres in the building. Angel, where you been, brother? Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, man. Okay. And then shout out to Paris Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat, my brother. He said RJ was so bad this year that he looked better in the playoffs, but what it really was, he looked better and competent. RJ didn't play good winning ball. That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, it's tough. It's kind of like I said this. Man, Parrish. Damn it.
I mean, that's what he does. He stings.
This is one of those things where I said before when we had Cam Reddish. Remember how everybody was like, yo, Cam needs more minutes. Cam's our best defender. Cam's doing this. And my question to people was, is Cam our best defender, or does Cam look like our best defender because nobody else is playing defense?
Wow.
So, listen, I'm sorry, RJ, you're my favorite player still. It's not like that. I'm just saying, sometimes things can look a certain way, but I do think RJ played really solid basketball in the playoffs, especially in the Cavaliers series. I do attribute one of those games directly to RJ's play. The second game, he had a lot to do with us winning. Other guys stepped up too. But one game, I definitely feel like if we didn't have RJ, we would have lost that game. The second game, partially. So I don't want to say he doesn't contribute to playing good winning ball because I saw it at least 2 of those games, definitely in the Cavaliers series. But I see what you're saying, Parrish, and I think you're onto something there. Yeah. I see where you're going. All right, so let's get to the next guy up. I saw some people in the chat talk about him before. He's like, someone said, "Hey, talk about this person," and then now I'll listen. All right, well, we're going to talk about him now. Jerami Grant. Okay, now Jerami Grant, folks, he's interesting because he's very controversial. And I say that because he's the type of name that everybody brings up, but all the Knicks fans are like, oh no, it's Jerami Grant, you know? And sometimes you got to look at it like, I mean, it's Jerami Grant, but, you know, let's not forget what we're getting from our guys and look at his numbers compared to what we're getting from our guys, right? So let's look at Jerami Grant. 20.5 points per game, 4.5 rebounds per game. I would like that number to be a little higher, but, you know, 2.4 assists. At least he moves the ball a little bit. It doesn't stay stagnant. I would like that number to be a little higher as well. 0.8 steals, a little less than a steal a game. Okay. The 0.8 blocks, though, you know, long wingspan guy. He's 6'8". I would think he could affect a couple more shots on defense to maybe get that block number up to a solid 1. But, you know, I don't know. Who am I? Shooting from the field, 47.5% from the field, 40.1% from 3, 81% from the free throw line. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, this is an upgrade. And he plays solid defense. Could his defense be a little better, as I just hinted at? Yes, but he plays a lot better defense than we are currently getting from that 3 position. You could say /4 because of his height and the way his body is. But I would still like, if I could get him as the 3 and keep Julius as the 4, if that's possible. I don't know if it's possible because honestly, if you were dealing with Portland in a trade, I would think they'd want Julius. Just saying. So what are you guys' thoughts on Jerami Grant? Once again, he is 6'8", 210 pounds, long wingspan. What's your thoughts on him, Jay Boogie?
Oh, man, where I'm at with my man right here, yo, I had a scenario in my mind frame. Yo, by any means, go ahead and give up. Go ahead. This is where I was at. I was thinking on my vacation. Go ahead and send RJ and send, 3 first-round draft picks and maybe 2 second-round picks to Brooklyn, and let me get Bridges and do a sign and trade with Portland and bring this guy and put them 2 guys right there along with Mitch. That's some hellified wingspan and the defense right there, as far as the 3, 4, and the 5. You know what I'm saying? I like Grant's game. He can bring so much to the table, on the defensive end. He's athletic. He's long armed it. You know what I'm saying? He can check anywhere from 1, 2, 3 to the 4. And if you go extra small and decides to put somebody like I can't think of his name, but anyway, if you put a guy that's small enough, he can check the 5 too. But bringing him over here, man, that says that the team is really trying to win. They aiming for something. Because that's a plug-in. That's not a hole. That's a plug-in. He fills in a lot on our team, defensive wise, 3-and-D wise, athleticism, good attitude, not a troublemaker. He runs the floor. He shoots. We know from the game he played, he can knock down free throws, when game is clutch moments. And, he is pretty decent at shooting the trade ball. And we had some chemistry ties with it. We don't know if, what I'm saying, if Hart is pitching to him that he wants to come here. We don't know that. We got ties with Josh being over there in Portland with this guy. So I would love to see him over here with the Knicks somehow, some way, because it feels so much. But he's a free agent. I don't know how much he turned down. And can we make that money available with some sign and trades and maybe a draft pick here? Quite sure we can, but it's up to the office. Do you want to go get him? Has Josh gotten you in? Let him know that, he wants to be here. Is Jalen Brunson, he pushing the button on that? Yeah, push the button on that, man. We need those type players, man, to go against these guys, man. Because, yo, Boston is showing us that, yo, they're giving up. They're giving up. And we weren't that far from Miami, man. I still know we should have beat Miami. Still know it. But it's hard playing against championship-type guys when you're unplayoff proven. And that's why we took our downfall. I don't know how much playoff experience Grant has, but that'll be a hellified, you know what I'm saying, adding to this team. And I like your choice with that, man. You're getting strong and strong with your choice. You went from Kuzma to Grant. I see you trying to fill up that 3, but, you know, the next one you put up, I want you to put yourself up there. And yo, Ron is like 6'8" with a 7'1" wingspan. Yeah, I'm snitching. He can play out 3, yo. Don't get it twisted.
Give me the money. I'll be out there. Y'all might not be happy, but I'll take that bread. Holler at me. Yeah. So Knicks 100. He said, wasn't Grant and Josh Hart just with a real superstar and did nothing but kill us? So what the F is he supposed to improve here? Well, real quick, before D goes, let me just say, you have a point, but what I will counter to you, I'll counter 2 things. One, Portland Trailblazers ain't as good as the New York Knicks. Say what you will. People, we've been fighting for credit. We've been fighting for credit all year, but this Knicks team is not horrible. We're a good team. We need some improvement to get better. We're trying to get to the next level. We won 47 games, and we showed that we could play with anybody. You already seen them take 3 out of 4 against Miami in the regular season, 3 out of 4 against Boston, 3 out of 4 against Cleveland. Like, we can play with these teams. We got a good roster. There's some improvements that need to be made, right? So I don't think bringing Jerami Grant in here means he won't do anything to help us. I think he will help us. It's all about putting together, like D said, put together the right roster. You don't just bring, I'm going to bring this guy because he gives me this amount of points and he play. No, how does it work with the team, okay? And how does this whole thing fit? You got to make it make sense. That's one. The other thing I was going to say is, you put to your point, like he was just with a superstar. Yes, he was with Dame Dollars over there. But remember, Dame Dollars only played like 40-something games this year. All right, that's another thing. How much team chemistry did they really build over there with that group? You know what I mean? And granted, in those 40-something games, Dame was destroying. I mean, his numbers are ridiculous offensively. But
yeah, there you go.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on over the chemistry issues, and their roster just isn't as good as our team. We got a better team than them. So I think Grant will make a hell of an upgrade in regards to that. The only question I have would, once again, it's the situation we talked about before. How do the Knicks do it? How do they figure out? Because Grant's making good money. How do they figure out how to get him here? How does the contracts work? How do we find the way? What do we move? What would Portland be interested in? Because let me tell you something. Portland they're in limbo right now. They're in that twilight zone. They decided to get rid of CJ McCollum. They moved on. They have held on to Dame Dollars way too long. And now they don't know what they're going to do with that. And they might be trying to move on from him. So they might even be trading their third pick. If you ask me, I think Portland might be on the road to rebuild, because if they trade that third pick, they're not bringing in anybody that is going to,
not in this draft.
They're not bringing anybody that's going to, take them to the next level. And they're also not going out there and getting another superstar type player, because it would be addition by, you'd have to get rid of Dame. You bring in another superstar, you're in the same situation. Like your overall team needs work. So I think they're on the road to rebuild. And if that's the case, what can we give them that they'd want? And do we have enough of it to give it to them, for Jerami Grant? Who knows? Because maybe we're in a good position. Maybe Jerami Grant is someone we could get, because the big haul is going to be for Dame Dollars. What they get back for that. So they may be willing to deal with us. We'll give them something nice for Jerami. Okay, we can build off of this with what you gave us. You gave us a couple young players and some draft picks. And then they get the huge haul for Dame Dollars, which to me is a little crazy, but I'm sure they would get it.
Yeah.
So it could happen.
And you have a business connection between the two, because for the Josh Hart acquisition.
Very true. Very true.
Chauncey Billups, you owe us a little something for being injured in
Facts, Chauncey. Hook it up, brother. Let's get it done. Shout out to Wayne Peterson in the building. Salute to you, my brother. I appreciate you. And I hear you, Knicks 100. I know you said you want to keep getting younger, but I got to tell you, at a certain point, a lot of NBA franchises, not just the Knicks, after you get them young kids in here, you start to develop or try to develop and get them to a certain point where they can contribute. And that's when it starts to shift a little bit, and the veterans start to come back into the fold because now you want to win. Okay, these guys know how to play ball. Fine. Now let's go get the guys that can take it home. And usually they're more established people. That's just how it works. When you're ready for that playoff push, it's not like you're going out and let me get the best rookie they got. That's going to put us over the top. That's not how it works. It's now let's go get the best affordable person we can add to the team that has the experience and gives us the missing ingredient, and usually that player is established. Just saying. Okay. Oh wait, hold on 1 second, D. Let me just Paris.
Yeah, do you think, bro?
He said, "Hey, Ron, what happened with Jerami Grant's disappearing act in Detroit, and why is he the first thing traded team to team?" Look, what you have to ask yourself is, what are you missing on your team, right? What do I need? All right. We already said multiple times the Knicks need a 3-and-D. Tom Thibodeau has said it since he's been here. I need that 3-and-D. Hasn't got it yet. Even the guys we bring in, they're not like the size-wise. Josh Hart's not tall enough. Quentin Grimes ain't tall enough. You give these guys height, they could be a problem, but they're not. So does Jerami Grant fit a need for us? He does. He does. He really does. I mean, he plays defense. He can stretch the floor. And, we saw the dude knocks down his free throws. He's a terror in the paint. You can win with a guy like that. You just have to continue to build around him the right way. But remember, you got Jalen Brunson here. If whether or not RJ's here or Julius is here, one of them should be here. And then you got other guys like Josh Hart. And I don't think the stuff is going to stop there. You're not done. Like, you bring in Jerami Grant, you still need the backup point guard, as we keep saying, and you probably need a power forward of some sort who can do like the little things to replace Julius if he goes. And even if Julius don't go, you still may need a backup power forward because Obi may go. Somebody's going.
Yeah, if Randall's here, Obi ain't coming back there.
Yeah. Somebody's going. And I think, honestly, if Randall's here, I think Obi's going anyway, guys, because I said this and I've been saying it. The Knicks have to make a decision with Obi. There's too many guys they're going to have to start paying. These younger guys are ready for their contracts. Do you pay quickly or do you pay Obi? We still trying to figure out what quickly's worth after what we saw, but most likely he would get paid if we keep him. If there's a choice between the two, I think the Knicks would keep quickly over Obi. I don't think I'm wrong. I think most people will agree. So they're not going to pay Obi, most likely. And it's the same thing that I said about Cam Reddish. I went back and forth with everybody. Even me and John went back and forth. I said, the Knicks ain't paying Cam Reddish. So he's going to be gone. And he's gone. So I just think that, we got to see what happens. But I hear you, Parrish. Interesting point. Now, D, what's your thoughts on Jerami Grant and his fit with the Knicks?
Yeah. So, one thing that's interesting, and he'll be a hot commodity this offseason. Because, I understand you were bringing up side of trade, but listen, it's one of the beauties about free agency, bro. You try not to give up as many pieces as possible in order to get the guy because he's up for eligibility as far as to being on your roster. Mm-hmm. So I don't see the Knicks, if they were to inquire in Jerami Grant, which they should, because, I see guys in the chat that, they're bringing up like, nah, and it's like, okay, listen, guys, do we understand that we don't have a 3? I mean, we don't have it. Rob, put it back to me for a second. Yeah. We don't have a 3, bro. Like, we don't have a 3. So beggars can't be choosers. And we need to fill that position. Because I guarantee if we bring in some lower tier guy there, he will be destroyed. Oh, why do we get this guy? We should just put RJ back at the 3. Yada, yada, yada. So, and especially what you did this year, and Jay Boogie, great stuff today. As he said so eloquently.
Thank you.
We had the Eastern Conference Finals in our grasp. So why would you not want to upgrade the positions of need in order to get you over that mountaintop for the next season? So it may not be typically Jerami Grant, so to speak, even when I think it is a very nice scenario in the sense of that you don't really have to give up anything to get him. You just got to pay him. And now the question becomes, well, how much do you pay him? What if he asks for a crazy amount, right? Something that's going to keep us cash strapped. That's something that we have to look out for. But the point being is that we should be very aggressive, aggressive expansion, so to speak, right? As to these positions of need this offseason, because I don't know where you guys have been, bro. This is our second playoff appearance in the last 10 years. This was our third in the past 20. It doesn't come around like that. So you got to go ahead and make sure that you're not doing anything that's going to go ahead and cash trap and leave your organization at a halt, right? But at the same time, you want to be aggressive and you want to be logical with roster construction, chemistry, and the money and the salary cap, most importantly, as well. So, yeah, you definitely look at a guy like Jerami Grant. And if he wants to ask for something ridiculous, then let somebody sign him for that ridiculous amount. But if he's willing to meet a compromise and that's not going to cash strap us and we're able to upgrade at the 3, you're damn friggin' right you go ahead and have him available. The man shot 40% from 3 last year. He's always had good defensive numbers. He has a 7'3" wingspan. He's 6'8". He's only 27 years old, so he fits the timeline with everybody else, right? I think it would be ludicrous not to look that way.
That's major facts right there, what you dropped, D. Just looking at that guy right there, the goal setting in, the goal when you wake up in the morning, wherever you're waking up from, and you're on this Knicks roster, is ECF, Eastern Conference Finals. That's your goal. That's your look ahead coming into next season, 2023-24. And everything we need to do to get there, we need to be hampering down the hammer. Forget how many points you scored, assists you got, rebound. The last 5, I just saw them last 5 bottom thing on stats that Ron just had up there. If he put it back there up there and remind y'all again of that right there, you see those, imagine those 5 stats, the bottom 5, the steals, the blocks, the field goal percentage, 47. That means he's getting to that paint over 40% from the 3-point range and 81.3% from the free throw line. That means he's finishing completely. And then he's on the other end, he's stopping somebody. And then you look how big our gap is at the 3. We need those type players on this roster. But like D said, you have to swing and find out what is his money range. You got to at least know. You got to at least make offers. You can't just let those type players go by without having a conversation. Now, we know he wants some money because you don't lead the Denver Nuggets like that. You left the Denver Nuggets to go chase some money and went and got into a situation that was trash. You know what I mean? So now, if you looking to get money, he'll let us know. But if you're looking to be a part of something, you know what I'm saying, then maybe he has grown up and feel like he got some money. But you can't let a player like that just walk by without picking up the phone, giving them a call, or talking to Portland. You must communicate and talk to these guys. Let them tell you no. Let them tell you we'll call you back. But just not calling and asking about these guys, that's what you can't do. Pick up that bat phone, Leon, and get to talking business with these guys, man, because these guys is available. And like I said, we not far off in the Eastern Conference. You talking about somebody that can go taste and check Jason Tatum. He probably would have clamped Jimmy Butler and made him work on the other end and all that. These are type guys you gotta have, you know what I'm saying? The figure out where we going and the steps we need to make, man. Don't let these guys just walk by without, having a conversation about these guys. Man. We need these guys, man. We need them. We need them. And no, he ain't going. No, he couldn't take Portland nowhere. Look at to the question somebody asked in the chat. Look at the powerhouse teams that it is in the West. Portland wasn't supposed to go nowhere in the West. He couldn't lead that over them teams over there that was dominant like that over there in the West. He had too many dominating teams. Even Golden State without a big man. You had too many dominating teams over there. And then when the Lakers did what they did in the trade, they became dominating. You know what I'm saying? You got Denver and all these guys, Phoenix and all these guys. You know what I'm saying? You got dominating teams over there. Even the Clippers, before that, they got injured and all that. Lord knows, Ron might bring the Paul George. Oh my God, let me stop right here.
Don't worry, he's not on the list.
Thank you. Because I've seen a lot of people talk about it. That's why I opened up with the rumors. You know, saying don't worry about it. We get ready to sign DeAndre Hopkins to the New York Knicks.
But you know what's crazy about Grant too is that he was a plus 14 in expected win because he plays both sides of the floor. You see, and of course he's not efficient at the rim, right? Well, I mean he's better than RJ and stuff like that, but. He's not efficient in the mid-range and stuff like that. But I don't have to worry about that stuff. You know why? Because I know when Jerami Grant, if he was to ever get on this roster, I know he ain't taking no 18 shots a night, bro. I already know that. Right. I got Brunson. I got RJ. I got Randall. So he's going to be playing within the flow of whatever goes on. So I don't have to worry about that stuff. And he's playing both sides of the floor. And with all that going on with Dame and them tanking late in the season and doing all that, he was still a plus 14 expected win because he plays with it basketball.
11 good shots is better than 20 bad shots.
Damn right.
100%. I'm with that. That to me, that man, that's good. That's good. I like that, J Boogie. It's very true. Yeah, I mean that's what it comes down to. Like the Knicks are trying to get better, become more efficient, be a better basketball club, and make it harder for the defense to stop us. Like that's, I mean, what else are we talking about? To me, that says it all.
And he could do it. You know why? You know what his ball usage was last year? 21%. So he'll have no problem doing it.
Yeah. I mean that I think that's something definitely to consider, guys. I wasn't like the highest with regards to Jerami Grant earlier in the season, but watching the season play out, just thinking about the team, what we need, it makes some sense, man. I'm just saying, you got to look at it. Shout out to Our Future Media, who said something a lot earlier, and I'm just bringing it up now because just a matter of fact, because when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense that would be interesting. This goes back to KP, and I started, but I never got to. I thought I hit it before, but I didn't. Armed Future Media said that KP and Brunson pick and roll would be deadly. It would be a nice look.
Or pick and pop.
Definitely would pick and pop. There would be definitely a nice look if we were able to get Porzingis to be able to use him in that pick and pop. Would be very nice. Shout out to Paris Duggar. Thank you for the generous super chat. He said KP or Kuzma and Mike Conley, and my sleeper is Zion. Oof, that one's a lot to unpack, Paris. Okay. Let me say this. I don't like Mike Conley. I'm sorry. I just, this is me. Do I think that he could add something to the team? Yeah, he probably could. But
great backup point guard.
I'm like, it depends on how much, because last time I checked, and the reason why I don't like Mike Conley is because Mike Conley was getting paid a grip. Last time I checked, he was making some big money for the level of production he's given. I think Mike Conley, let me, I could be wrong because maybe things have changed since the last time I saw a Mike Conley contract. But let me just pull it up just to make sure so that I don't look crazy out here in these streets. Let me see. Ooh. Yeah,
it's hefty, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He's currently on a 3-year, $68 million contract. So that's 22, 24-ish around there per.
But it's part guaranteed.
That's a lot, man.
It's part guaranteed, and he doesn't become unrestricted to 2024, where he would be 37 years of age.
Like if I don't know how you do that. Like with the other needs that you need, and then having to pay Josh Hart, and then I don't know how you do it. It's just, to me, it's about the money. That's the way I look at it. I mean, he's older, but I still think he could probably give a team another good season or so. It's just the money is like, ooh, that's a rough one. I don't know. Maybe I don't know how they make that work. That's a lot.
I could go get Donte Graham in free agency this year and be good with that as a backup. It's a lot of pieces out there.
We could bring over Rokas.
Yeah, I'm going to Summer League to see him.
Yeah, yes.
I hope.
That's what I'm saying. We could do something. So that's that. And then before we move on to your other generous super chat, Zion. Okay, I went back and forth a couple days ago with somebody who commented on one of the videos, and we were going back and forth about Zion. And quite frankly, I was not feeling Zion, and I'm still not, but I shout out to the guy, and I can't remember his name right now, but he was like, listen, my thought is that I feel like the Knicks will put him on a proper regimen, a proper diet to get himself right, to get him healthy. I think he'll be in much better spirits to be able to come over here and possibly play with one of his best buds from college and all this. And I said, okay, if that's the mindset that you're thinking can happen, and being a part of New York and the Big Apple and all the lore, if you think that that would do it for him, then maybe. But I just think that the way Zion is right now, I don't know if his heart back to Atlantic Star. I don't want to give him the full Atlantic Star. He can get a snippet of the song. Cat gets the full song if your heart isn't in it, because he's already shown me that. Zion, it's still a question. I got to see. First off, he's got to be on the court for me to see if his heart is in it. So, but anyway.
Is that, I mean, you want to bring over a guy that's going to have a contract, and his contract clause to make sure that he's not over 290 pounds?
That's
talking about Weight Watchers. Jenny,
you know what I mean? That's I don't know, bro. I don't like it. I just don't like the way it's going. We had questions about him coming into the league, right? But the biggest thing was, is he going to be able to maintain that weight and still be able to contribute, or is that weight going to balloon and become too much for him to handle? We never thought that we'd be questioning whether Zion would be healthy. Like, this guy's he got that one injury where his sneaker blew up, and ever since then, now he's getting injured all the time. And the weight obviously contributes to that. It's harder to come back from injury. Then you're putting all that weight back on the injured parts and all this, and you're hurting other things. You're overcompensating here. And I don't know, guys. I'm just saying, like, I like Zion. He's a beast out there, but I just don't know. I don't know if I would take that chance. If it was me, I'd go somewhere else first before I went the Zion route. Because as young as he is and as talented as he is, if he's not on the court, then what is he to you?
You know what's the crazy part about him, though? When he's healthy and playing, he looks like a top 15 player.
I know he does. He is the one. Like, if you're gonna say, you talk about make or break your franchise goes out there and say, let's go get Zion. That's a make or break. That's either going to put you on the map, or it's going to knock you right off the map and knock you out of a job too. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, shout out to Paris. Thank you for the generous super chat once again. If IQ and Randall shows up, are we still too small? Yeah, we're still too small. We're going to be small. We're still too small because, remember, it's all about matchups sometimes in the playoffs. Fortunately for us, we escaped Milwaukee. Now, I know some people are like, well, I must rather have seen Milwaukee than the Heat. You don't know that, because Milwaukee's always been a little funky when we play them because of how they play, their style of play, and their size that they got. So it all depends. But I think size does matter. Pause. Anyway, yeah, I just think that it's something to think about. It not if the guys play up to their potential, then maybe you can overcome it. But remember, a lot of what's going on right now, these teams in the playoffs have been playing small. Denver don't play small though, right? Milwaukee didn't play small, but they just got out everything by Miami. And Boston, I don't know if they probably do play small, and Miami plays small. So there's certain teams. Yeah, but it just depends on your matchup.
But their small is bigger than ours.
Correct. That's true too. Yeah, like I said, it all depends. But since we didn't get it, all we can do is try to figure out what do we do if we want to improve the team going forward, thinking that this is what we're missing. All right. So now that being said, now I had somebody else scheduled to put up right now, but being that we haven't touched upon this position and we keep talking about it, I figured we might as well go in that direction now, because I keep saying that we need to improve here. There's going to be some options out there. Mike Conley was already a name that was brought up, but I think this person is someone we should really look at. I believe he's a free agent. Now, how the Knicks would go about doing this, like I said, they got to get creative. Let's see. Oh, and shout out to Victor Rivera. Thank you for tuning in. Smash that like button, guys, if you haven't already. Jarrell Williams is in the building. What's good? Salute to you. CAA Mafia is in the building. Salute. Jermaine Sims is here. Salute. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. Guys are like, Zion is a dub. Zion career won't last if he keeps playing power forward. He has the handle and quickness to play small forward. It's a possibility. He'd be the biggest small forward I've seen. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a possibility. Yeah, maybe. All right, so let's get to somebody at this position. Somebody that I've always wanted the Knicks to look at, but it was very hard to pry him away. I still think it might be hard to pry him away because he might just resign, but we'll see. Tre Jones from San Antonio Spurs fame. So now, granted, there's one category Tre Jones is not good in here, but everything else, he is the right type of prototypical backup point guard who could even spell your starter if you need him, if he gets hurt or you need him for an extended period of time. So Tre Jones is, and let's see, what is his height? He's 6'1", but, you know, it is what it is. But he's a backup point guard, so it's okay. It's not, and he plays good defense, though. There's a difference. See, there's 6'1" Jalen Brunson, who doesn't play the greatest defense, but tries and hustles. But then there's Tre Jones, who does play good defense at 6'1", even though he doesn't have the height to really affect everybody. 12.9 points per game, 3.6 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 1.3 steals per game, 0.1 blocks. We don't expect anything there. He shoots 45.9% from the field, 28.5 from three. That's not great. 86% from the free throw line. So this is a solid player, comes in, knocks down the open shot, mid-range flow or closer to the basket, little floater type, whatever. But he gets to the line, he knocks down the free throws. He plays good defense, and he's also aggressive in the pass, gets those steals. And he's a good facilitator, 6.6 assists, helps your offense continue to flow. In stagnated moments when the defense is clamping down, he can find ways to get it going because he's a good facilitator, and he will knock down open shots. Except, you know, he's one of those guys, he just clearly doesn't look like he's got a lot of range on his shot. That's probably why he's not a good three-point shooter, because to shoot 86% from free throw, 45% for the field, he can shoot. He just probably can't shoot from range. So, yeah, I think it's very interesting. Jay Boogie, what's your thoughts on Tre Jones as maybe a backup point guard option for the New York Knicks?
How many years he got in the league? He's like 4 or 5, somewhere around there, right?
He is 3.
So he's going into his 4th year, right?
Yep.
He's going into his 4th year. And Deuce is going into his what?
3rd.
So my thing in my scenario is okay, he has more of an opportunity over there. I believe, just speaking, I believe if Deuce is over there and he had that opportunity going into coming in his 3rd year, compared to those numbers, he'd do the same numbers. That's just how I'm looking at it. 4 years and me spending some money on it, whereas I got a guy that's pretty much here that's not far off from the numbers only because of opportunity. You know, I'm more gooder with Deuce than I am with him coming in. They really didn't have no point guard, so he should have had a run. They got rid of Murray. They drafted the rookie kid from out of Alabama. So they really was going back and forth with those 2 guys at point guard. So he had opportunity to play comparing Deuce, whereas he didn't really get opportunities to play. So my thing is, you bringing this type guy over here just to sign him, that doesn't consist of no trade, me getting rid of nobody, me signing him and bringing him over here. And then Tom is already saying that my rotation is tight. You know, I just don't look for us to be able to bring somebody over here by signing, you know what I'm saying, knowing that this rotation is already tight. Somebody has to be out of the way to go get signed guys. Because Thomas already made clear he's not playing that many guys, which I already feel like, you know what I'm saying, it's not about the rotational guys, it's about the situation for the guys, that how you should get on the floor. But I can't bring guys and I don't have no room for them to play. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're not a guy that can really just make me force somebody out of the way. You know, I think he's a good ball player. It's working out for him in San Antonio. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit different from his brother. You know, I mean, if you're talking about his brother, then maybe that's something different. You know what I'm saying? But him, I just really don't see a need for that type guy when we got somebody like Deuce, that if he has the opportunity, he can put up those scenario type numbers. And when he doesn't have the opportunity, he's on the bench and he's not making a ruckus about it. You know, that size, playing, getting ready to play, and not being able to play. How are you going to react over there, you know, far as, you know, are you going to be a good guy for the organization? And I think Deuce has proven that, you know, for me, just to give somebody like Jones his spot.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, you know, I think that there's something to that. If you put Deuce in the same situation as Tre over in San Antonio, would his numbers go up? Would he be a little bit more effective offensively? I think there's a good chance that that's the case. The problem is, well, let me see here. Let me say this. All right, so just so you know, guys, Tyus Jones is 6 feet, right? So Tre is actually an inch taller than him, surprisingly. But Tyus is the brother that's on Memphis. Now, let me just tell you Tyus's numbers, right? So once again, Tre's numbers are okay. 12.9 points, 3.6 rebounds, 6.6 assists, 1.3 steals, whatever, the 0.1 blocks, 45% from the field, 28% from the three, 86% from the free throw line. This is Tre. All right. Tyus is 10.3 points per game, 5.2 assists, 2.5 rebounds, 1 steal, 0.1 block, same thing like his brother. He's shooting 43% from the field, 37% from the three. He's a better three-point shooter. He's got a little more range on his shot. And he shoots 80% from the free throw line. But when you really look at the brothers, Tre probably has the better overall game. Tyus is probably the better three-point shooter, and maybe he's more proven in the bigger moments because of the what Memphis creates and that team being thrust in all these stuff. But they're very similar, man. And Tyus actually, you know, might be a little less of an overall player than Tre. Just Tre's on San Antonio, and San Antonio ain't got nothing cooking. So just something to keep in mind, because I thought about that too. I said, oh, what's the difference between these two brothers? And I thought that was really interesting. I was kind of surprised myself, because I thought Tyus was way better than Tre. They're very similar, and Tre might even, depending how you look at it, might be a little better. Just a thought. I just want to throw that out there, because I saw when Jay Boogie said it, I said, you know what, I got to bring it up because I saw this early and I was thinking the same thing. So it's very interesting. It's very surprising. And there was something I was going to say. I think I forgot it. Whatever. It's lost. It's okay. Anyway. Well, no, I got it. I remember now.
Okay. Because
you got it back.
Stay lost.
I got it back. I got it back.
He's going to stay lost now.
I got it back. The one thing I did want to say to you, Jay Boogie, in reference to could Deuce do the same thing in San Antonio. I think he would improve, and I think we'd see Deuce start to really open up his wings and show you more offensively. The only thing between Deuce and Tre, and this is Tre and Tyus because they're both similar with this, they can break down the defense, and their first step is quick. They're quicker ball players. So you can't teach that. That's tough. So I think you never see Deuce really become what Tre or Tyus does in that regard, because he can become a better, find his gaps and how to break down the defense a little better. He just will never get that foot speed. That foot speed is just, these dudes they're blazing out there. So that was it. That's all I was gonna bring up because I thought about that too. Believe me, everything you're thinking about, Jay Boogie, I'm with you, man. I'm on the same page.
You sure?
Well, not everything. Not everything.
Because you remember what Clubber told Rocky, what I'm saying, in the first fight, I got a lot more.
Yeah, not everything. But D,
I get totally where you're coming from. It's just that, when you have an opportunity and nobody's in front of you, and you don't take advantage of those opportunities, like he has nobody in front of him. Those numbers should have been more skyrocketed. Because see, now is my opportunity for me to set in stone that I belong in this league. Now is the time for me to start putting in, set in stone what type of money I should be looking at. Because I have nobody in front of me. So, like when you compare those two, at times, you got Ja, in front of him. And then at times you have Bane in front of him, because Bane can play the 1 and the 2. You know what I'm saying? So opportunity presents itself, compared to opportunity and nobody's in front of you, and that's just some of the things that I look at, and I just they got better quick moves and all that. But who to say that Deuce don't be like, hey, yo, Brunson, I need to work out with you this off season. I need to learn to understand the ins and the outs. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have that quick foot. But you know what I'm saying? Andre Miller ain't had that, but he knew the ins and the outs. So if I could get up under your wing and follow you, you know what I'm saying? I could develop my game a whole lot better. I didn't bother you your first year. I know you was on one. Road. But this off season, I need to work with you because I need to be your backup. So opportunity presents itself, man.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, listen, I don't know. I just think it's a little easier for those guys because they got that quickness and that speed, and they're already doing it at a good level. But you're right, and when you were talking, that's why I'm saying, Jay Boogie, it's the years, the knowledge, the experience. I was just thinking Andre Miller, and then you said it. See, but it is what it is. Because Andre Miller was one of the craftiest point guards in the league without having all of these athletic tools that others had. And he did his thing, and he was nauseating, man. He was like, who's the guy that they call him slow-mo that everybody hates, but he gets it done. From Memphis, right? Well, he was with Memphis.
He's in Minnesota now.
He's in Minnesota now.
The guy from Jersey.
Yeah. The dude just gets it done, but don't show you nothing else. But somehow he's able to do whatever he wants out there. But anyway, I hear you. D, you good to go?
All right, ready to go.
All right, because listen, if you gotta, I don't want to stop nothing. Maybe somebody's blending a Maurice Tignando, maybe some sofrito in the background.
Well, it is Memorial Day weekend, but no,
you know what I mean. Oh, hey, all right. I'll take one. With the umbrella, please.
Oh, you want that? All right, man. I got blue and pink though, so you got. But I mean, every week is Memorial Day here. But
yeah, okay.
Okay, I like what you're thinking.
Oh, sorry, Kyle Anderson. Thank you guys. The chat hitting me with it. Kyle Anderson, appreciate it.
That's a very nice bench piece to pick up on the cheap. There'll be a nice replacement over Obi. Anywho, I like what you're thinking. Like, personally, I'm in the camp of TJ McConnell's and stuff of that nature because I just feel he just bleeds New York. Like, we would love him, bro. Like, but I like what you're thinking. And for the Deuce and the Tre comparison, Deuce is a way better defender. the Tre Jones, whatever. But and Ron, you hit it right on the nail. He can play make. You can work him into pick and roll. He has a floater game. He gets to the rim. Those are things that Deuce can't do.
Right.
And, you know, and some people, like I saw somebody in chat say, well, he plays 11 minutes. I understand that. But we can only base on what we're seeing. Because if the front office and the coaching staff thought that he could do those things, I think he would get more than 11 minutes or 7 minutes or 6, whatever he gets. Or DMPs for that matter. So, you know, it depends what you want out of it. If you're looking for defense, no. Because Deuce plays way better defense. And Deuce has a 6'9", 6'10" wingspan. So, but if you're looking for a guy to stabilize your offense, be able to work in the pick and roll, can create a little bit of himself within the pick and roll by getting to the rim, 86% at the free throw line, as you mentioned. It depends where you're at. But we need a backup point guard. And we don't have that. So you definitely, once again, it's the beggars can't be choosers type of thing. And it's like, we love Deuce. We understand. And look, I think Deuce is a guy that should stay on this roster with this time span that they have going. Because I just think he brings out a lot of things that we want from our guys. We want that tough ingredient. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We want guys to be in guys' faces. We want guys guarding guys 94 feet, stuff of that nature. So I think that's very good. So if a guy like Tre would come in, Deuce wouldn't go anywhere. He would just be further along in the pecking order, so to speak. But I like where you're going. Look, and check this out. Almost 7 assists a game, right? You want to know how many turnovers? 1.5.
Yeah.
So he's taking care of the basketball too. And guys are able to get shots. He's able to get his own. You work on pick and roll, pick and pop. And he's very cheap, which is very important most of the time. So yeah, it's a direction that I would be looking at. That was a good one, Ron.
And he is you know, a free agent.
See what you guys do every time when Ron's going, you see what you get in D's. He working at laptop information, and when D's going, Ron, he working at laptop. Hit them like buttons and appreciate them guys. I just wanted to stay and make sure I heard D's last, you know, comment, you know what I mean? Because it went around the board, you know. I don't like, you know, because it's my turn and I talk, then I jump off and on because that's how you've been going, you, me, him. So it's only right for me to listen to him too. But I gotta jump off, you know, and get unsettled, man. Hey, yo, D, another thing, that background you got, that's the beautiful piece. Listen, I just was inside the Avatar in the tree riding at the Animal Kingdom. You know, when you ride the paddle wave boat and you go through the Avatar, you see all that. That looks so much like I feel like I'm still in the cave. Shout out to you with that background, man. But shout out to the most beautiful people still rocking in the chat. And shout out to Ron letting us know we all still Knicks fans, coming aboard every weekend, coming aboard on the weekends when he come. Him and his man, John, man. Great content, you know what I'm saying, that they always develop and putting together for the people, same as D's Hoop, man. I love you guys, man. I'm gonna talk back with y'all later on in the weeks, you know what I'm saying? I gotta get up on D's show this week too, you know what I'm saying? I'm just getting back, settling in, man. I just want to let y'all know I appreciate, love y'all, and thank you for all the support people that's going to grab, you know what I'm saying? J Boogie presents My Sunshine. Those 6 tracks are still rocking, you know, and people are still grabbing those. I appreciate the people going to, you know, stream and grab my music. Thank you kindly, you know, and I'll continue on working, but y'all continue on having a beautiful weekend, a beautiful Saturday, a beautiful weekend. And like D said, every day over here is Memorial Day, y'all. So salute 3 capital S's, man.
Appreciate you, Jay Boogie. Always a pleasure, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yes, sir.
That's Jay Boogie, guys. So yeah, I think I got 2 more that I want to get to. We can get to a bunch, but I'm not going to do all that. We got 2 more I'm going to get to, and just understand that these are just ideas. There's many different combinations. I saw the free agent list that's coming up. It's a lot of different names. Now, they're not all sexy names, but they're names that if you put the right combo together with what you got going on, you'd be surprised at the outcome. Like no one thought that the Lakers were going to go make the little trade for Westbrook, wind up with a Rui Hachimura and all, you know, whatever they were doing, Rui and, You know, they got that was separate. But getting Rui and then going out and getting D'Angelo Russell and whoever they got back in those pieces, it all helped out, right? It got the Lakers to a point where they were in the conversation to make some noise, but in the end, they got beat by a better, you know, a really well put together team. But there's not a knock on what they tried to do, because what they did was like smoke and mirrors at the trade deadline. I was surprised at how much better they became. So good for them. But like I'm saying, Knicks can do the same thing. You know, if they're gonna come back with the same type of team, you know, you'd be surprised at how you can figure out how to make the team a little better. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Nick Yak is in the building. Josh, aka Uncle Fulio, is in the building. Salute to you. Am I missing anybody? If I'm missing you guys, G Robinson is in the building. If I missed anybody, I apologize. It's not for lack of trying. It's just I can't see everybody because I'm trying to do the show and there's a lot going on. So, but I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. And Building Blocks. I think I said your name before, but if I didn't, I'm gonna say it again. Building Blocks. Salute to you, my brother. Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. There you go. Knickerbocker. Hey, I don't think I've seen you in the chat before.
Quite a few of those today. Good stuff, bro.
Yeah. But if I have, you know, thank you for returning. But I appreciate you. Thanks for being here, Knickerbocker. Appreciate you. All right. So that's that. Now, where was I going? These are the two interesting ones right here. Which one should I go with first? I'm gonna go with Rui Hachimura.
Nice one.
So here's the thing, guys. Now look at these numbers. This is Rui's numbers in the regular season. Okay. And I'm saying this for a reason, because obviously I'm going to read you postseason numbers in a bit. Rui is 6'8", 230 pounds. Good size. All right. When he played with the Lakers in the regular season, remember he was sent over there by trade. You know, Lakers already had the little system going on with their star players, and Rui was trying to find himself and how he fit into the mix over there. But so take it with a grain of salt. 9.6 points per game, 4.7 rebounds, 0.7 assists, 0.2 steals, 0.4 blocks, 48%, from the field, 29.6% from three, 72% from the free throw line. Now, I'm telling you this because I want you to take these numbers with a grain of salt, because Rui, like I said, he was feeling himself out, trying to get acclimated. This was his first time as a young player being traded, right? Understanding how that process feels. You know, as young players, it's very tough. You make relationships with guys, even though you know it's a business. When you're there, you feel like you're home. You know what I mean? So getting traded and then going to a team where they've got star players and influencers. Like if you go to a team with LeBron James, you're on pins and needles. I don't care who you are. And if you're a young player, you're really on pins and needles, because LeBron has that much power to get you up out of there. Anthony Davis probably has similar power, but he maybe doesn't enforce it the same way. But you know, LeBron is a mover and a shaker out there. So I got to tell. I mean, I hope people understand, when you go play with LeBron James, you got to be on your. You don't know what you're getting into. If he likes you, fine. If he don't like you, you could be up out of there. So,
you know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, I guess you do. So you got to keep that in mind. So Rui went in there trying to feel his way out. How can I help this team? Oh, messed up. Then it starts to weigh on you. I got to get back. Oh, whatever. All this stuff, right? Took him a little minute to get acclimated. Now let's take a look at what Rui's playoff numbers look like. In the playoffs, Rui was averaging 12.2 points per game, 0.5 steals, 0.3 blocks, 0.6 assists. So at this point now, he's not about, well, what do I do overall to help the team? Now it's not about that. It's about, what does the team need me to do? And in this case, the team needed him to play defense and to score, because they were lacking some scoring, or at least the defense was trying to take certain players out, so they needed it. And Rui said, okay, I'll give you guys the scoring. So 12.2 points per game. He shot 55% from the field in 16 games in the postseason. That's what he averaged, 55% from the field. 48% from three, 88% from the free throw line. So, you get a guy, you don't know exactly what to expect, but once they get comfortable, they start to, get that confidence level, the game starts to flourish and shine, and then they step up, and then, this is what you wind up getting. So, Rui Hachimura, I think, is a player who is a free agent. He's someone that the Knicks can look at, because if we known that Rui was out there before, maybe the Knicks would have made a move for him. I don't know if they could have got him and Josh Hart, or if they would have even wanted to, but I think that's something that they really should consider. What do you think about Rui, D?
Yeah, I think you hit it right on the nail just before, and it's that I think the opportunity's gone and passed. And plus two, he's a restricted free agent. So, now my thing is that, it really depends where they want to go. But as you did mention, he has some nice playoff moments with them. It's very interesting what LA is going to do. It's really dependent on if they feel that they can make another push. Personally, I don't think they do. So then it becomes a thing where it becomes two sides of the coin, where it's like, okay, well then he could be available, or he may not, because if they're going to go ahead and blow everything up or start from scratch, then they would need pieces, and then people will be out. Hey, look, listen, we'll match that, because we're going to go ahead and start it over. Which I don't think they'll do, but there is the possibility because of the age of LeBron and the way this AD was looking. Like, there was games he looked completely dominant, top 10, and there was games where he looked like he was wearing down. And I don't know how that looks for the future for them. So they got a lot of questions. And plus, they jumbled a lot of things this offseason. And I think if they were able to keep everything, I think they would make a splash. And I think they would go for like a Dame or something of that nature, to really say, hey, look, listen, if we're going to go out, we're going to go out this way. And we're going to put the pedal to the metal, which means that Rue would be an ideal piece to be moved. And a type of blockbuster thing like that, because he's restricted. and they hold all the cards on that. So he's a guy that, of course, you have to inquire, see what it is. That's the job of the front office. But it doesn't look likely. I think the window's been passed on that one. And to answer some people's questions, I saw as you were giving your take, that was he a small forward or a power forward? He actually played both. And I'll give you the numbers here right now. In Washington earlier in the season, he actually played 56% small forward, 42% power forward. In LA, he played 32% small forward, 68% power forward, right? That was regular season, right? But in the playoffs, 59% at the small forward position, 41% at the power forward. So, wow. So he could be either or. So he's a guy.
Great numbers, D. Thank you.
No doubt. That's a guy you definitely targeting, because we're looking for versatility. See, one of the things that was kind of wrong with our roster last year, well, besides it being clunky, is that there wasn't really a lot of versatility in it, because we got small guys. IQ's a little bit small for the position, because don't forget the average height in the NBA is 6'6" to 6'7". So, and it's been like that for 40 years. So Deuce is undersized, right? IQ's undersized, right? Jalen Brunson, we love him. He's undersized. RJ is ideal, but athletically doesn't make up for that. We don't have a sport. So Josh Hart would be a little undersized at that three, because don't forget, he played a lot of three for us last season. There was even Grimes playing some three, and we know he's a little undersized. So we do need guys in versatility, and Rue definitely does fit that. Something to look out for. I know you mentioned his 3-point numbers. To simply go ahead and look at them again. And that was, 30% from three on 2 attempts. Although he did pick it up in the playoffs, though. It was at almost 50%, but it was on 2.4 attempts.
Right.
So do we have another Isaiah Hartenstein thing all over again, where it's like, off these small amount of attempts, you have a high percentage? Hey, he's going to come here. He's going to space the floor for us. And then he's shooting 29%. So yeah, it could be something like that. But I think he brings versatility. You know, and he's still a young guy. He's only 24 years old. The next thing that I want to look at too is defensively. And defensively, he played very well this season, especially with LA. So that could have been a product of him being at Washington culture. Washington has never really been a lockdown defensive team. When him, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt didn't come, LA did become a better defensive team. Was that because of on ball? Was it because off ball? Was it because of matchups? Was it a little bit easier for Rue because of the accessibility from power forward, small forward? We don't know. But I mean, and you can watch the games and find out. But he's a guy you got to be interested in.
Yeah. No, I agree. And that's the thing. Like, you don't know what you're going to get. The thing I will say about Rui is coming out of college, people were really looking at him like he could be a game-changing type talent. Not a superstar, but I'm seeing someone who could really have a good NBA career. And, you know, we just haven't really seen it come to fruition yet. He's had some injury issues with Washington, and then now he's with the Lakers and just finding his place and finding his role. Where does he fit in? Is the playoff Rui what can be the real Rui, or is it more of the regular season Rui that we're used to? That we don't know. He's someone to look at like for that. Now, I will say to what D's saying is the ship passed, maybe. That ship might have sailed already because Rui has shown that he has some talent, and the Lakers might say, nah, we're not going to just let you go. We could use this because they are devoid of a lot of talent.
The commodity goes up when you do it in the playoffs.
Right. The other thing, though, was what D pointed to, which is the reason why I put him here. And I said, you know what, I might as well talk about him anyway, is what direction are the Lakers going to go in going forward? You got LeBron throwing it out there, putting all the emphasis on himself once again, as he does, because he's a media darling. Am I thinking about retirement? I don't know. So because of that, because like point blank period, if LeBron decides to retire, then I think you can go get Rui, because something's changing over there. Now, some might say, well, I mean, if they lose LeBron, maybe they want to keep Rui because they want to keep whatever talent they got just to kind of put something formidable out there. That's true, too. But I just think if LeBron's leaving, they breaking it up or they changing things around because the window's closed. So just a thought. And I just thought that that's something we should keep in mind because Rui is an interesting player. And I just think the way he plays is he plays with heart. He's got some physicality to him, but effort is important. We want high IQ guys. We also want guys who give the effort.
Pit bulls.
Yeah. Shout out to Jay Boogie. Thank you for the generous super chat, my friend. Always a pleasure to chop it up with you today.
Deja vu. Did we just see?
I know, right? He said the Bucks are hiring Adrian Griffin, assistant coach from the Toronto Raptors. That goes to show that the East is getting weaker. Time to make moves.
Mm-hmm. And I asked the chat when they broke it out, is that an indication that the Bucks might be blowing it up? I could see how someone might look at that because Adrian Griffin is not the household name. He's not the wow factor coach. He looks like a coach that would be comfortable in either way. If you want to roll it, run it back, I'm here for you. But if you want to blow it up, hey, I'm good at helping develop these young players. I can do so. Yeah, I could see like that's a question. That's a question. It's interesting. Because that move sounds like 3 to 5 years scouting, developing.
Actually, does that point to why the hell would the Milwaukee Bucks fire Budenholzer when he's giving you everything? He lost his brother throughout all. They won a championship with him. How do you let a coach like that go? Maybe you are deciding that we want to blow it up and start retooling and saving some money here and just bringing it all. You never know. Milwaukee is still a small market team.
Yeah. And with new ownership coming in, right? And that's why I knew KD was going to go to Phoenix once I saw the new ownership. I said, oh, no. They're going to come in. They're going to want to try to get a splash right away. Where my point is that new ownership always speaks of new vision. And so now you're going ahead. You're selling this, right?
JJ got me salivating. Go ahead. Continue, D.
I've been telling y'all about that damn pick, bro. because that's a juicy capital right there, bro. Because I did the numbers. I said, okay, Drew Holiday is going to be 35 at that time. That's not looking good for Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's going to be 36 at that time. That's not looking good for Milwaukee. Giannis is still at the prime of his career. Would he be down with a rebuild? I don't think so. So that capital is looking real juicy right
now. Although I will tell you this, guys, as juicy as this capital looks, don't look at it like, oh, if that happens with the Bucks, we might get ourselves a nice solid pick. You look at it like out the door, because that's what the Knicks will be doing with this pick. It'll be out the door.
You're right. They're not developing unless it completely breaks down. Then yeah, it always sounds like a submarine, bro. But they would be looking like the only way that pick translates to us is if catastrophe happened and the ship went down.
Right.
Start over.
Right. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm. Had the same stuff happen.
So, okay. Amazon deliveries, you know how it'd be. Anyway, okay. All right. So that is pretty much that with regards to Rui. And the last guy I wanted to touch on real quick. Now, mind you, this person is someone that a lot of Knicks fans like. We've seen him. We've all, people have talked about him in the past, and he's just a solid basketball player. He's not necessarily the 3-and-D guy. Does he play D? Yes. He's not a 3-and-D guy, and he doesn't give you that height. But he's a better shooter than what we have. And, he could just help us as far as moving on from a guy like Fournier, someone we could actually use out there. So you got to look at it in different ways. This is not game changing, but he's somebody could help. And that is Donte Dinvincenzo. He's 6'4", so that's why I'm bringing that up, guys. He's not 6'6", he's not 6'8", so he doesn't give you the height that we've been coveting, but his game speaks for itself. 9.4 points per game, 4.5 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.3 steals, very active with the hands in the passing lanes and things of that nature, as also, as far as just picking people's pockets. 43.5% from the field goal area, 39.7% from three, 81.7% from the free throw line. Just, a much better scorer, much better shooter. Not someone that you have to worry about starting, not somebody you have to pay a lot for, somebody that you could plug in and just be a really good, core, help piece for the team, really good role player. So someone to think about. What's your thoughts on Donte Dinvincenzo, D?
Yeah, I think he's Josh Hart with a better three ball. But Josh Hart's a better finisher. That's the difference. Because they both can play make. They both rebound the ball very well, and Josh Hart's a better rebounder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very similar. They might be a little redundant. Because we are signing Josh Hart this year. That's no doubt about that. And it might be, people be saying 18. It might be something like that. Might be 18. So I could see that. He's family. Brunson wanted him here. He was very monumental in our playoff push, getting to the playoffs. Right? We were 21-9. No, lies. We were 21-7. And that last portion of the season when he came. So, he had a very good first round. He was my X factor that worked out. Second round kind of disappeared. Could be a gazillion reasons as to why that is. So I think Josh Hart's coming back. And if he is, I think Donte might be a little bit of a redundancy.
I could see that. Where I'm leaning on with Donte is that if you brought him here, he gives you better overall shooting. So that's a plus. But how could you play him? How could you use him, right? Josh is someone you have to find minutes for if you bring him back, which most likely he's coming back. Granted. But if you do decide to make an effort to go out there and get somebody else in trade, you do know that you could lose Emmanuel quickly. If Emmanuel quickly goes, Donte Dinvincenzo would be a nice replacement for quickly if that's the case, because he's going to give you, I mean, who knows? Hell, he might give you better efficiency numbers than quickly.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love quickly, I question how a guy who looks like he can shoot so well sometimes struggles with his efficiency. Let me just take a look at these quickly numbers real quick while I have DiVincenzo's numbers up. Keep in mind, guys, once again, I'm reading Emmanuel Quickly's numbers just so we can look at comparison-wise. Quickly scored 14.9 points per game, 3.4 assists, 4.2 rebounds, kind of a wash there. He shot 81.9% from the free throw line, very similar, wash there. 44.8% from the field. So that's a wash. I mean, Quickly actually was a point better, and 37% from three, compared to 39, almost 40% from three. So there's an improvement there with DiVincenzo from behind the arc. But in the end, very similar players. So some might say you don't miss a beat if you get DiVincenzo here. If you lose Quickly, just thought. Saying Quickly might be a little bit more explosive, offensively, and on defensively, I don't know who's the better player yet. I'm not sure.
Well, like I said, he's Josh Hart, right? So he brings that big, bulky type of fullback type of football body. So he's very physical as well. So I guess it would depend on the matchup as far as defensively, even when Emmanuel Quickly did not show up defensively for the playoffs either. So that's tough to see. But, the thing with Quickly is that, Ron, Quickly was 67% at the rim this year on 134 attempts. He was 50% at the short mid on 260. And, he was around where DiVincenzo is. I think one thing that DiVincenzo would do better than Emmanuel Quickly, I think he'll just impact the overall game a little bit more in the sense of rebounding, as far as playmaking, stuff of that nature, that tough, gritty New York D we love. And not saying that Quickly can't play D. I'm just saying that, but if I had to choose between the two, because they're both very cheap, DiVincenzo's has some injury history. Quickly's been pretty solid on that front. I think, you would Quickly, and this is why I don't think Quickly would go anywhere. He's cheap. He's really cheap for what he does. And especially in a year where, I'm thinking if I'm the front office, I'll be looking to make a splash. So I definitely want to keep guys on my roster that are going to be productive, especially with Emmanuel's productivity from last season. And he's cheap. And
he definitely is, especially for one more year. Definitely.
Correct. Yeah, I think it's like $4 or $5 billion or something like that. Like, so you're going to get a lot of juice out of that orange, for that price tag. So they may, and of course Donte wouldn't be too far off from that. But the difference is that you would have to give up something or give something to get. Where Emmanuel Quickly already got him here, and it's not like DiVincenzo is 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", or something like that. He's only got an inch or two on Emmanuel Quickly. I think Quickly has a longer wingspan.
Oh, let me see, because I don't remember if he is. Actually, Donte DiVincenzo is a free agent.
Oh, is he?
With a player option. Oh. Would he want to leave Golden State to come to the Knicks? I don't know.
Imagine me trying to spell this guy's name. DiVincenzo. That's as close as I can get. Let's see.
Hey, what DiVincenzo?
Okay, so he has a player option for 4, 5. He might keep that because is it going to get better anywhere else?
Well, I mean, if 4 or 5, so even if it's 5, And right, you said Quickly's making what, 4.5, something like
I
that,
could
maybe.
look right now.
Yeah, because I mean, yeah, but how does that? See, that's the thing. Like, you don't do sign and
Oh
trades
my
for
God,
smaller.
dude, he's at this season. He was at 2.3, and this season coming up, it's a club exercise type of ordeal going on there. Club option, it's at 4.1.
Yeah, that's really cheap. And so with smaller players, you don't normally see signing trades for small guys. So I don't know how the Knicks would go about doing that if they needed to. But if you know, and how much cap money do you save? Like, because you have to be within a certain threshold. So there's only so much that you can play around with and have come back that you can use. It's an iffy proposition. The Knicks would have to clear up some money somehow to be able to even sign a DiVincenzo. But you know, there's just a thought.
Keep this in mind too. And no, you have some good stuff here, and keep this in mind too, right? Our overall salary next year is going to be, as of right now, 152.
Yeah.
So
it's a chunk.
You would have to be. That's why I'm saying, like, there has to be some movement, because there's just certain things that don't match. Like Evan Fournier is a guy that would have to go, because you can't have that 20 mil being eaten up, and then he's just there on the bench chilling. And it's not like he's injured. He's healthy. He's ready to go.
Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong, guys. There's a lot of different scenarios and ways to figure out, you know, how can I improve here? How can I improve there? There's so many different guys that you may look at on just on the surface, like, how can I make this work? Like, for example, Herb Jones is a free agent, but he's restricted. Do I see myself thinking that the Pelicans will let him go? No.
Why not?
But I mean, because I just think, like, he's such a good defensive player. If you let him go when you got him and you don't have to pay much, because offensively he's a little, you know, he can score here and there in moments, but he's, you know, it leaves a lot to be desired. So you could probably get him and keep him, you know, on an affordable contract. Yeah. So I just don't know if they'd let him. And he's so young. Like, I don't know if they'd let him walk. Although you could see that they've got so much talent over there and they've got different guys. They could do it. Right. I just don't know. But like, the Knicks could pursue Herb Jones, bring him in. Now you got a really solid defender. You ain't got a question. Whoever he's guarding at that position is in trouble, and he might be helping the same way in other positions. And he gets you. Sometimes he gets hot. He can add a little to the mix. He's not really a 3-and-D guy, but you know, you get something. The defense alone, and then maybe you get more offensive firepower at a couple other positions. Maybe you say, I'm going to get this guy because I know he can score. I need that. Yeah. And then, you know, whatever. But there's ways to work around this stuff. And there's like there's a list. The names I'm looking at, it's a lot of guys. And, you know, like, this is all, like, there's a lot of guys. So I'm just saying, like, that's adorable. You know, you can definitely, you know, work your magic. But, you know, we're not going to get into all of that. But anyway, man.
And here's one more thing with Evan, real quick.
Oh, yeah.
When Evan gets off on the 18-19, RJ comes in with the 24. So you got to think about that as well.
Damn it, D. I was feeling good about myself for a second.
No,
you got to hit us with the real.
But Herb Jones, he's great because he'll do the dirty work. He'll guard the premier perimeter players. In his rookie season, he was respectable from 3. So you would hope that would continue. And he'll be really cheap, and he'll be doing a lot of dirty work for you.
Yeah, like you guys can see who's the guy. You know, Herb Jones reminds me of a guy who just always on a really good team and really Damon Jones, was it?
Who?
I don't know if it was like who's the guy that is on the Bulls now? He's lefty, plays defense.
Oh, Derek Jones Jr.
Derek Jones Jr. Herb Jones gives me that type of vibe. You know, Derek Jones Jr. has been on good clubs. You know what I mean? So, you know, he definitely fit his role and, you know, was used properly. Yeah. So Herb Jones could definitely fit that for the Knicks. I mean, let me tell you something right now. The Knicks do nothing, right? If the Knicks do nothing and they come back with the same roster and bring in Herb Jones in the Tom Thibodeau scheme of defense, I'm telling you, the Knicks can make some noise. Now, granted, they're still being in that same situation where they can't shoot from the perimeter.
Yep.
I'm just saying that's how much of an impact Herb does give the team. Not saying that's what I would do. I'm just saying if they did nothing else and they brought him back, I would say this Knicks team is a better team than last year.
Yeah.
They still need to figure out how to shoot better, though.
Yeah.
So,
hey, Kevin Middleton brought up a great point in the chat, and then you're looking at anywhere from 15 to 18 for Hart.
Yeah, that's another problem too.
So Evan goes out at 18, and now your surplus now is over 20.
That's very true. Money-wise, you're going to put yourself in a pickle. The only good thing is you'll have somebody who can play for that money, whereas you got a guy making the money and sitting on the bench. But it doesn't change. Like the cap situation becomes what it is. That's an issue. It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Before we get out of here, I wanted to say, shoot, I think I had it and lost it. There was somebody in the chat that said something, made me think about something. I don't know. Whatever. I don't think I did. But I do want to say shout out to Jack City. He said just popped in to say hi and bye. I appreciate that. Showing love. That's cool.
Good stuff, Jack. I hit the like before you leave too.
Yeah. Someone said something too. I don't know. Pudge mentioned something about Hachimura. Another thing, he's from Japan and Cali is close to home. Another reason why you don't want to leave that area. I get it. Yeah. I don't know what it was. Oh, I knew what it was. It was just a little something I was going to comment on. Long Island Sound, yes. Sorry, bro. I know they already told you in the chat. We did already go through Porzingis. You missed it. He was like, let's get to Porzingis. Yeah, we already did it. So, you're welcome to go back and watch the beginning of the show where I got to it. I don't think the timestamps will be ready because it takes a while for this thing to get uploaded to YouTube once the show is over. So I'll try to put the timestamps in there to make it easier for people to go back and see these people. But you just have to rewind. I'm sorry. But yeah, man, it's been a good show. As we go deeper into the off season, we're going to continue to try to give different scenarios. Maybe we'll get once we get serious, when we get close to actual free agency, and then now we're about to do some things, maybe, I'll do what we did last year where we put some numbers up and see if we can come up with actual scenarios of how this could work. But we're not there yet, and I'm not racking my brain for no reason. So that's down the line. But it's been great. Thank you to Jay Boogie for chopping it up with us. Appreciate you as always, Jay Boogie. Shout out to the chat. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you. Knicks 100 threw another name out there. Like I'm saying, there's so many different names. Like he threw out Vanderbilt. Yeah. Vanderbilt's another one that I wouldn't be minding. I'm assuming you could get the guy like that on the cheap. He's very versatile. And it's weird because every time I see him play, I think he's like one of the Grant brothers. But I was like, who is that? And I keep forgetting it's Vanderbilt. I swear he reminds me of them. But yeah. We'll see. We got a lot to talk about over the off season as we get deeper into this whole thing, when we figure out what the Knicks are going to do, because somehow it's going to start leaking out what the Knicks are planning. And if we hear the Knicks are not
sure about that,
well, you know what you're going to hear, D. Ian Begley or someone's going to drop, well, the Knicks aren't really planning on making any big game-changing moves this off season. So you're going to hear that at some point.
Wow. But how would you feel if you heard that?
As I said before,
you go press the buy button.
We can talk about it, but if you bring back the same roster, the least you can do is figure out a way to make a couple minor signings that might be big in the long haul, what we just talked about. You'd be surprised. You go out there and get a Herb Jones, how big of a difference that would make for this Knicks team. Just saying. You'd be surprised.
I'm with you.
So yeah, man. D, any final words, my brother? What you got going on? How's everything looking?
Yeah. Thanks. Good stuff as usual. Say I like some of the names. I like your thinking on some of it because, although I don't think we have the roster, and we do have the draft cap, but not the roster to really make that home run swing. We always have the ability to make these small improvements in order to upgrade the roster and plug in a couple of holes and stuff like that. We're definitely eligible for that this offseason. So very good stuff with that. Thank you for having me as usual. Jay Boogie was fantastic today. Very good energy, said some very good things today. So shout out to him as well. What do you call that? Tomorrow I'm going to be on 12. I have a theme going where I'm having the people choose what they want, right? And so far, according to the majority, right? Randall's gone. Players like Siakam, Bridges, and Jaren Jackson Jr., which was a guy I was surprised you didn't mention. People were very, in the hunt for. So I thought that was very interesting. I think it's very important as a fan base to know what they want based on a sound analysis, not just barking the bark. You know what I'm saying? Like very sound analysis as to, okay, well, if we subtract this and we add that, why? And so we're going to continue that theme tomorrow. I won't kill as to what the topic is because I do want to be a surprise. I don't want you guys to have too much time to get ready for it. But we'll definitely go ahead and go through that. Since hitting the K mark and stuff like that, kind of feel like, the gloves are off, so to speak. So definitely going to ramp up content and as far as like the idealism of it. And so that's going to be a continuing developing thing. But just in a short version, 12 p.m. tomorrow, I'm going to be on. Want to thank the chat once again. Want to thank the Hoop family. Make sure you guys put out the likes on the way out if you haven't. Make sure you guys tune into Ron. If you guys don't catch it, make sure you guys leave comments at the end. And also make sure you guys check them out on Monday, right? Knicks Still Knicks Fans Weekly, correct?
No, we decided we're going to take off this Monday because it's Memorial Day.
Okay.
Want people to have a good time and enjoy and not stress about stuff. So we're going to take off Monday, even though I don't really want to, but we'll take off on
Hey,
Monday.
look, man, you got to be a party animal. Okay, it's the weekend to do so. I don't blame you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Plus, you know what? Why not? You know what? It's Memorial Day. Let's salute the veterans for what they've done for us. Let's take it easy. And also, guys, we work all throughout the year in our day jobs, whatever we got going on. Go out there, have fun, whatever your peoples, your family, if you're barbecuing, whatever. Enjoy your day. And I'm sure that you're not gonna when the Isley Brothers is on or something's going on in the barbecue, you're not gonna, hey guys, stop that. Let me put on still Knicks fans so I can hear what Ron's talking. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that's probably what's gonna happen. I'm gonna take a chill pill with that, but that's good because it gives me more time to kind of line up what's going to be happening with the show for the next couple of weeks. So yeah, it's been great. Looking forward to seeing what we do this off season. I'm looking forward to being able to interview a lot of different guests and all that good stuff.
Can't wait.
So yeah, guys, this is it's always going to be a fun time, man, because we got optimism, we got hope, and then hopefully the other thing we have is a good roster going into next season. Let's see. Yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Shout out to D once again. Thank you for being here as always, my brother. Yep. Great content, adding great value to the show. You pick up wherever I'm not quite right at. If I don't have something, you've got it. That's what I appreciate you so much, bro.
No INT, brother.
There you go. Let me see. I think I just saw something. No, I think I got everybody. Yeah, I'm always looking because I always see something out of the corner. Yeah, Bo Ismail. I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. If you missed the show and would like to go back and see what you missed, by all means, yeah. And you could always fast forward through to the different players and see what we talked about. Like I said, I'll put timestamps up, but it takes a while for the YouTube to load up, and so it probably won't be up until. I don't know why that is, bro, but I don't know. Anyway, but thank you guys once again for watching. I appreciate you. And as to what we were talking about, there's, like I showed the screenshot before, there's a bunch of different names. There's a bunch of different guys that we didn't talk about that you could still figure out ways to play around how this might work, different scenarios, like we could come up with something. So the Knicks can be creative and figure out how they can help improve the roster if they really, put their minds to it, and keep the core. If that's what most people want,
or at least keep the idea of it, right.
And Jet Life for Life is in the building. Salute, appreciate you. But I will say, if the Knicks somehow are able to get Jaren Jackson here, that'd be great. I don't know how they do it. I mean, he is the reigning defensive player of the year. You know, it's not that, it's not easy. But all right, hey, why not? All right, guys. Thanks again for being here. As I always say, tell a friend who tells a friend who tells another friend. Still Knicks fans. We'll be back again, whether it be on Saturdays at 11-ish for Know the Ledge, on Mondays, not this Monday because it's Memorial, but usually Mondays at 9 p.m. with Ron and John, for SKF Weekly, or Thursday nights for the NBA Report at 8 p.m. on Nothing But Knicks with Ron and John. Now, unfortunately, like I said, if you guys missed it, this Thursday I couldn't do the show. There was a lot going on. I just came back from vacation, so work was kicking my butt. I tried to even do it yesterday. I was thinking about doing it this morning. Just not enough time. It is what it is. Yeah, man, thanks for being here as always. Once again, shout out to D for getting that 1,000 subscribers mark. He did it. He did it. You know what I mean? You can't keep a good man down. Let's go. Yes. Beautiful thing, man. So, all right, guys. Thank you guys as always. Have a great rest of you. I mean, enjoy this weather on the East Coast, especially in the New York area. The weather is fantastic. So enjoy the weather, do something fun. Even if it's just going out there and getting yourself something to drink and sitting on a bench, man. Just enjoy the day. So appreciate y'all. Thank you as always.
One more. We gotta get your butt to 3K.
Oh man, we're a long way away from that.
Spread that good word around, everybody. Let's do it.
The pomp circumstance. Let's get it. I appreciate that. Well, you know what? In due time. As soon as I get the Patrick Ewing interview, we're out of here. I'm telling you. Yeah. All right, guys. Take care. Have a great rest of your day. We out.
Peace, y'all.